Back here live at the Waterfront Village with my friend, the zombie, Jonathan. You're looking good. Jonathan just got an awesome face paint job. What do you think?
I make turtles.
It's now time for Big D Energy with four-time Stanley Cup champ Darren McCarty and the golden voice of Neal Rule. Live on the Woodward Sports Network, 99.1 and 93.5 The Roar, the Woodward Sports app, and anywhere you listen to podcasts. Let's talk some sports. It's Big D Energy.
Hey, yo, welcome back to Big D Energy here on the Woodward Sports Network. We are in on a Friday. My name is Neal Rule. We got Easy in the chair.
What up, though?
Filling in for Darren McCarty today. D-Mac will be back in his regular slot, regular consistency on Monday as he gets his business dealings handled and all locked up. We got Sawyer here, as you know. Big Friday, the Motorsports Minute with Sawyer.
Oh, yeah.
That's coming up.
It's a big day. We got a loaded minute, too. I don't know if I'll be able to get through it all, but we're going to try.
We're going to try. And speaking of the Motorsports Minute, the guy that has his finger on the trigger, ready to cut it off at 60 seconds, Sam Flannel in the house as well. What's up, Sam? How are you, man?
Hey, I'm doing great today. Another day, another show at Woodward Sports. I'm blessed. What more can I ask for?
Tap in on the YouTube chat thread as well if you're watching live on the YouTube channel. We have an upset today on the YouTube chat thread. Clomp Sauce getting in first over Detroit Dabber. Probably a bigger upset than the United States over the Russians in the 1980 Olympic hockey. But that is a big-time occurrence. But tap in and get your comments out there. Our social media handles are on the screen, too. However you want to get involved, get involved. NFL, AFC Championship, NFC Championship on Sunday. You know we'll do a deep dive into all of that as well. Lots of stuff to get to. It's my job here, Easy, today to make sure that we don't go down that Stafford rabbit hole. We don't do it. Because every show, and you know, you do a lot of shows, do the morning show and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What is this traction beam that the Matt Stafford situation has that we have to steer clear of?
So I think I figured it out. And what it is like a lot of people, Adam, Jeff, they're younger than us. And what it is Stafford's been like their guy, like they're pretty much their whole like adulthood of like Lions fandom. And you have to admit he is the best to ever do it in Honolulu Blue at the quarterback position. So I think they're a little in love. I think it's a tough breakup for them.
Yeah, so it's my job to steer clear of that. I will do my best. I will also need your guys' help also to make that happen. But that's what we're going to try to do. And we'll set up the YouTube poll today. Now, yesterday, I got a lot of social media messages and things like that. When I talked about the whole cooking situation, my wife said I was ridiculous because I wouldn't take the extra time to do some stuff to food if I didn't feel the return was worth the investment. Even though it could make it better, if it didn't justify the return of the time investment, I wouldn't do it. So lo and behold, and this happened a few days ago, and I had this lined up for Friday for our YouTube poll here today. And I go to you guys because that's what I do to try to get some perspective, to try to get a feel for maybe I'm wrong. I'm one of those few people, Easy, that can look you in the eye and say, you know what, I was wrong. Based on the data I have, I was wrong. And I'm comfortable with that. And we move on.
Yeah.
But my thing here today is, a few nights ago, it wasn't a blow-up or anything like that. We have a difference of philosophy about the dishwasher. And we were in a situation where my sons in particular went on a cereal run where they had eaten a lot of cereal during the week. They're big cereal guys. So bowls were at a premium. They were running low. We were down to our last bowl. And so the dishwasher, I would say, now to fit my narrative, I'll spin the facts a little and say it was about half full, but it wasn't really quite half full. But for argument's sake, it was about half full. And I went to go run the dishwasher because we were out of bowls. We were going to need more bowls. And my wife said, why would you run the dishwasher if it's half full? And I said, because we need bowls. Like, nothing's going to change the fact that we need bowls. And it became a thing. Like, it became a thing, Easy. So I want to know, in your mind, and you live with a female as well.
Yes.
Am I being ridiculous? Is she being ridiculous? Like, we were short on bowls. So I was going to run the dishwasher to have the bowl supply replenished. Now, it was about half full, but she said that it wasn't worth wasting the water on. I say it is, and it's not wasting water. We are out of bowls. The dishwasher requires water to run. Therefore, to get bowls, we need to use the water to run the dishwasher. Am I oversimplifying things?
A little bit. I mean, there's just like there's workarounds, you know, and you're not wrong. Like you know, like you said, you got the clean bowl. That was the ultimate goal, right? But like women, and as biased as I am, like there are little things that they just take up another notch, and you know that may be it in your household. Mine may be other things. But when I run out of bowls, man, you go to the Tupperware, or you can single hand wash one bowl. Like those are like the workarounds.
Yeah, and here we go, too, you guys. Detroit Dabber 313. Oh, God, Neal, not again. Well, yeah, you know, so it's on the YouTube chat throw right now. Am I ridiculous for running the dishwasher when it's half full? I don't think I am. And everyone's given suggestions and solutions and stuff like that. But I will not do what Steve Brown says. You can take a bowl out and hand wash it. Then why do I have a dishwasher?
Well, hold on. Let me ask you this, though, because you want your cereal, right? That's the quickest way to get your cereal is taking it out and hand washing it. Just you know.
No, I wasn't going to eat cereal. I saw what was on the horizon here. Like we were out of bowls.
Just running it to run it.
Yeah. No, I'm not running it to run it. I'm running it because we're out of bowls. And Steve, I got a dishwasher to wash the dishes, so I don't have to hand wash the dishes. You see what I'm saying? That's where I draw the line right there, Steve. I'm not taking that one into consideration. I'm sorry. Curtis Godfrey, you got to buy more bowls. That I think that's fair too. Matt Carrier, Neal's wife's still salty about the non-grated cheese. Maybe that's the case. It was around the same time frame. I can't remember exactly which one was first, but that's what I want to know. And early returns here, 63% of people say no, I'm not ridiculous. But I was taking this up a notch because we were out of bowls.
Wait, you do the shopping too, don't you?
The grocery shopping, yeah.
So you grab like the dishwasher tablets and stuff like that when you go?
Absolutely.
Oh, dude, you run that washer as many times as you want.
Her problem, I think, is with the water use. So we live in Washington Township, which I've been told is like the end of the water supply for Detroit. So we pay like an ungodly amount for water at Washington Town, like way more than anybody else in the civilized world pays for it. But, whatever. It's the price of living where we live, I guess. So, for me, again, that's part of the cost of doing business. And you got to run the dishwasher to get bowls or buy more bowls, as Curtis said as well. FJ 1967, you have your kids, you have kids to wash dishes. No, I understand, but I am working with them on that to where, because they're guilty of like putting it in the sink and moving away, and I'm like, ho, yeah, circle back here, guy.
Yeah,
circle back, rinse that thing out and throw it in the dish. Like, how hard is that, bro? Come on.
Yeah, that's what my mom used us for. We were just like her little like servants at times, just like cleaning, doing all this stuff. But I get it. It's we're living rent free. So yeah, actually they're living rent free. Make them wash those bowls.
John Suba, I love these Neal stories. I want to know: do other people go through this stuff, or am I weird, or is my wife? Like what is a story here? I don't want to say I'm looking for confirmation, because that's not it. Because I can look at you guys in the camera here and say I was wrong. If the data presents that I was wrong, I'll be a man about that and admit that I was wrong. It's no big deal for me to be wrong.
Yeah,
I know some people have a huge problem with it. It's not a problem with me. I can be wrong.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong as much as she's just like taking it to that next level a little bit there. I think you're the right.
Coabzilla says, Neal, would you run the dishwasher with one single dish in it? No, because we would have an adequate supply of dishes if that were the case. This was the outlier where there was a run on bowls. Kind of like in the NFL draft when there's a run on linebackers or a run on offensive linemen, or in your fantasy draft, kickers seem to be the thing. The first person that takes a kicker, the next thing you know, there's a run on kickers in your fantasy draft. There was a run on bowls. So I had to step in and rectify that situation.
You, if anything, you were like for real stepped up, because unselfishly, it's not like you were using a bowl. You just saw we were out of bowls.
Yeah.
And you did a noble thing. You cleaned the bowls for the rest of the house. You're a hero.
I wouldn't go that far. Adam Morenzi, Neal, you're not ridiculous. Run the dishwasher. You're not ridiculous to run the dishwasher when it's not full. You need clean dishes. One Funky Lions fan, dude, run the dishwasher whenever you want. Honolulu Blue Sparty, kids and dishes, don't get me started. It's a battle. It is a absolute battle. And it's 30 seconds. Travis Lampman, okay, I'll say it. It's your wife. I for the record, I didn't phrase it like that. That was Travis Lampman in our YouTube chat thread. Those were the views expressed by Travis Lampman do not necessarily reflect the views of Neal Rule nor Big D Energy here on Woodward Sports.
Correct.
So, it's just, I want to know if this stuff happens to other people, or is it just me? Because it seems like it's just me, Easy. Does this happen in your household?
No, not the dishwasher specifically, but like I said, I think women as living partners.
Be careful.
Yeah.
Be careful.
Yeah, there's certain things, that they get more upset over than they. I don't know. I'm stepping on landmines here, man. Don't. They take things to the next level at times. I think we all know.
Greg Peoples, I told y'all Neal is bougie. Sawyer, does this represent bouginess? I don't think it does.
I wouldn't say it represents bouginess. I just think this is a common household debate about running a dishwasher.
Right. You know what it is for me, Sawyer? It's wanting to get that done. And so it's done so I can go turn the game on or go have a gypsy vodka.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Or go work out or go do whatever.
Yeah.
Just not deal. Like, I'm so lazy that I do stuff quickly. Like, I want it off my plate. Like, if I got to go mow the lawn, I'll get up and go mow the lawn so I'm done with it.
Yeah. No, it just makes sense.
I just want stuff off the plate.
Yeah.
So, I don't think it's bougie at all. Matt Carrier, such a waste to run it when it's not full. Did you use half the soap? No, Matt, because I use those tablets, so I used a whole tablet. I'm sorry.
But then again, you replenish the tablets on your wallet, on your time. Like, you do whatever you want with those tablets. Damn it. You run it all you want.
Yeah. Jake Wegener says, no, we have a guy who takes Justin Tucker so early, it's literally the joke of the league. No, but that's runs. There was a run on bowls, just like there's a run on kickers in your fantasy draft. Honolulu Blue Sparty, let it go for a week and see what happens. The family will thank you next time. Well, the problem is like it's going to fall back on me. That's the thing. Like, as they pile up, because I'm the first one that gets home from work. Like, I leave here, I go pick up my son from school, and I go home. So I'm the first one that gets home. So when those things are sitting there in the sink, guess who it's on to handle it?
How old's your son?
My son's 14, my oldest son.
Make it his thing.
Well, they empty it.
Okay.
They take turns emptying it and putting all the stuff away.
That's what we do.
So it's not like they don't contribute. You know what I'm saying? They do. I got a battle for them, and I'll tell you guys this: like, that battle that I fight with them, it's easier. Again, with me being lazy, I have to fight the impulse of it just being easier for me to just empty it and be done with it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, yeah. I feel that 100% because I have a 14-year-old girl in my house, and it's like everything with her is a battle. And sometimes it's like, it sucks for her little brother, but at times it's like it's easier to like ask him to do it than have her do it at times. It's I understand that wholeheartedly.
Matt Carrier, Neal mows the lawn 2 hours after completing mowing the lawn. No, I just want it done. I want it done for the weekend. I'm a big fan. I love mowing it on Friday and have it being done for the weekend and then just chill, for the rest of the weekend. But, I mean, that never happens because when you got kids, that stuff never happens. Tammy Chin, it takes less water to run the dishwasher than it does to do the dishes by hand.
Wow, I didn't know that.
I mean, yeah, it's probably true.
Yeah, because it's probably cycling the same, like, load of water versus, like, just letting it run nonstop.
It's probably true, but Tammy, it's just easier. And I'm lazy. So, that's why I do it. So, hey, I just want to put that out there and see where everybody was with that. We are going to talk a lot of NFL football here today. I almost like the championship weekend more than the Super Bowl because there's 2 games.
Yeah, that's fair. That's totally fair. I give me more football all day. Like when they had the Monday night playoff game, that was awesome. I'm here for it.
It was pretty cool. I thought that was kind of dorky at first to have a Monday night football game, but it did work. It did work for me. It was pretty cool. I do hope that they make that a thing. Sawyer, you know what else is a thing?
Oh, yeah.
Mystery beer vending machine is a thing.
Oh, yeah.
Foaling is a thing.
It's a big-time thing. And it's right in Hamtramck. Right on our doorstep. All you got to do is go down there, go to foalingwarehouse.com, and check them out. I mean, it's a giant warehouse, so many lanes, 2 giant bars, so everywhere you go, you're able to get yourself a water, get yourself a beer, get yourself a cocktail, whatever you need, really. Each bar has a mystery beer machine, so put $2 in. It'll give you a mystery beer. We've had some Rolling Rocks come out of there. We've had some Natter Days come out of there. PBR, Colt 45, Old Milwaukee. So, I mean, we're just throwing darts at the board, and it keeps filling up. We keep getting hitters, so $2. It's a perfect investment for your beer. I mean, I do it all the time. I know Neal likes it. Easy likes it. Everybody who went to the Christmas party there likes it, and you can do private reservations as well for your corporate events, family reunions, get-togethers with friends you haven't seen in a while. You know, if you just want to make it quaint, or Neal likes getting away from everybody, so he rents the private lane for himself. Or you can just show up, pay $10, open to close, throw till your arm falls off. Show up on Saturday. I mean, catch some Royal Rumble. Big WWE going on. Show up on Sunday. Stay all day. Watch the championship games. I mean, you can just throw till you drop. It's a great time. Owner created the game at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Place near and dear to my heart, so the game's near and dear to my heart. You got to try it out, guys. So do me a favor. Go to the Folding Warehouse in Hamtramck or go to thefoldingwarehouse.com. This is Big D Energy on the Woodward Sports Network. We got Neal on the desk. Easy on the desk today. We got San Francisco in the audio booth making us sound crispy, and I'm over here in the TD booth keeping us live. Be right back on the Woodward Sports Network.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Woodward Sports. Missed part of the show today? Watch again on YouTube or download the podcast anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Back at it, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. You guys are making me laugh here on our YouTube poll. Neal here with Easy. Happy to have you all along with us today. We got Sam Flannel in the house. We got Sawyer. Oh, we're off and rolling. Ryan's reaction. All these polls about Neal's personality making me feel for his wife. I don't know. Matt Carrier. Neal has to get the private lane. He likes soaking up all the resources.
Yo, I actually did some homework for you, Neal. That's in your favor.
Okay.
27 gallons per average if you're washing by hand versus 3 if you have an Energy Star rated dishwasher.
Okay.
So there's your argument.
There's the argument.
Her argument is water and paying a high water bill, let her know it's actually more in your favor if you run the dishwasher.
That is true, man. Matt Carrier, Sawyer is damn good with his reads.
Ooh, hey, I appreciate it, man.
Putting out hitters, man.
He's working with the best.
There is no question about that. Robert says, Neal, Washington Township water bill, try having a half acre in San Diego. My water bill runs between $300 and $500 a month. We get some bangers in Washington Township as well. There is no question. But, yeah, yikes. San Diego hits different. Jason Norman says, Neal, make my day if you could give me a birthday shout-out. Well, there you go, man. Happy birthday. So
happy birthday, Jason.
Yeah, absolutely. Glad you're tapping in here on your birthday as well. So,
this is actually just Jason's birthday party. I don't know if you knew that.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that's what this is.
Oh, that is. That's right. It's getting hype in here. The 2004 draft class. Now, obviously, Ben Roethlisberger stepped aside and retired. And it got the question out there being asked. The 2004 quarterback draft class. They had Eli Manning, Phillip Rivers, Ben Roethlisberger in that class. When you look back at it, and certainly there were some great draft class, and the one that I went to right away, because initially I saw that Easy,
yeah,
and I said, no, that's not the best draft class ever. Ben Roethlisberger, he's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, right? Yeah. 5th all-time in passing yards, couple of Super Bowls, 6-time Pro Bowler. That's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yes.
Is that it?
Wait, who?
Ben Roethlisberger.
Hall of Famer, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Phillip Rivers, I don't know. I don't think so. I'm not putting Phillip Rivers in my Hall of Fame.
No?
No. I mean, no, I don't think he's Hall of Fame. He hasn't won a championship. He's just kind of been there. He's been in the playoffs a couple times. He had Damian Thomas, and that was like that was their team. That was the core guy in his prime years. Like, why are you putting him in your Hall of Fame, Phillip Rivers?
I would think, because I got to look at it this way: if Matt Stafford, loses this week or loses the Super Bowl or whatever, is Matt Stafford a Hall of Famer? And I said he was a Hall of Famer before this playoff run, just based on the numbers that he was going to accumulate. And Phillip Rivers, I think, is another example of a Matt Stafford-esque resume. So I would say, that Phillip Rivers is a Hall of Famer.
See, I think Matt Stafford has better stats though. I mean, we know here yards for sure. End of the day, Stafford's gonna have more yards than Phillip Rivers. I'm gonna do some homework real quick. I'm
Matt Carrier, Eli whining to not play for the Chargers was the best part of that draft. And yeah, that's
I hated that.
people forgot about all that. So I guess my question, this is kind of a side question to it. We talked about Barry Bonds a lot, and Barry Bonds is arguably the best player to ever play baseball and is not going to get in the Hall of Fame because he was a jerk to media. Media take that personal and are unable to separate their biases versus what the job is in voting for Hall of Fame players, I think. But anyway, we talked about that earlier in the week. Ben Roethlisberger had his little skates with the law, too, and questionable things that he did in the past. I don't know. I think he's going to go right in. And the fact that he was a quarterback for the Steelers, too, that's going to help him, that he played for the Steelers, that he's going to walk in there. But that's not even really the question. For me, it is the draft class. Do you think that 04 class was the best class of all time?
Like the class in whole or like quarterback class?
The quarterback class.
Quarterback class, I'm looking right now. I think you have to say so. Like, the only one close probably would be 2012. We got Robert Griffin III. Russell Wilson, Ryan Tannehill, Andrew Luck, who's no longer playing. Nick Foles, Super Bowl champion, but backup quarterback. I think.
Yeah, I don't have that one on my list at all.
Yeah, no, I think the only one you think that. Wow, what other ones would you compare to?
Well, I think the 1983 class is the one because right away that's exactly where my mind went to.
Was that Marino?
John Elway, Jim Kelly, Dan Marino. It's like the mystery beer vending machine at Foaling. Like it's just hitters across the board there. Like even the crappy one, Ken O'Brien, he had some success in the NFL too. That's the one where I go back to, and I think it was for me anyway because those guys are revered as some of the best to ever play the game, like through generations too. Like Dan Marino, I know he's like the poster child for guys that haven't won the Super Bowl. I understand that.
Still
but
great though.
But he's still revered. I mean, people are like, yeah, he never won the Super Bowl, but he was a bad dude too.
100%. That's like similar to this Aaron Rodgers thing is like people are going to say what they say with him not having the second Super Bowl, but we know, have watching him play, like one of the best I've ever seen do it in my entire life. Like Dan Marino's great. And I think you're right. 1983's got to be the class to go with. I'm not really, I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just not high on Phillip Rivers. I get, like, he is there. I'm looking right now. He's top 6 all time in yards, but like it's also a different generation of like passing the football that he played in.
Curtis said longevity can get you in. And I equate the Rivers thing a lot to the Frank Gore thing. To me, there's no doubt that Frank Gore is a Hall of Famer. And not because he was great, not because he was dynamic or anything like that. You do it that long at that high of a level, which he did. I think that speaks to something. That longevity plays a part. Does that make you an all-time great? I mean, it does in terms of longevity. It does in terms of, again, being at a high level and doing it to me. And that seems to be the opinion of people that are in our YouTube chat thread, too, where Ryan says Rivers was held back by his franchise like Stafford. One funky Lions fans, for quarterbacks to get in, if they don't have a ring, you have to ask if they are better than Dan Marino. And that's a tricky slope, Lions fan, to go down because those numbers pop. And look, the game is a lot different now, just in terms of how much more of a weapon the pass is. And I think we've seen a renaissance, too, in drafting over the last couple years. And there's fewer and fewer of those defense wins championships people out there. You know what I'm saying? Do you notice that that's dying out easy?
I've always been a defense wins championship guy. Like that's been like my thing, and I think it still holds true to like when your team gets hot. But ultimately nowadays, and I think last week in the divisional round proved it more than anything, it's offense now. The league's changing that way. You're selling more tickets that way. Fantasy football is a big thing. Gambling's becoming legalized across the country. Like
people want overs. They want their same game parlays to hit, and when they do, you get rewarded for it.
Yeah, you don't want to be the guy rooting for an under. Like no one wants you at the party. You're that guy. You know what I'm saying? Like,
have you ever bet it? And easy, I know you're not like a huge sports bettor in terms of dollars or stuff like that. You and I've talked about it before. You'll throw a couple bucks on a game if you're going to watch it or whatever for the entertainment sake of it. Have you ever bet an under in your life?
NBA unders, yes.
You have?
Yeah. If it's some good defensive matchups, like you'll hit on them. Like the Bucks when healthy. The only thing that messed all that up, I was on a hot streak, was COVID. And you started having these G Leaguer guys coming out of nowhere.
Yeah, games got weird.
Games got real weird. Had to step away for a minute. But it was not fun root for the under. It's definitely not fun because guys are making highlight plays while hitting that over too. So it's like I don't know, but I don't bet any more than $1 though. So I don't.
Yeah, but yeah, you do it for the entertainment value. You are the poster child for what it was supposed to be.
Yeah,
you put $3 or $4 on a game. You watch it. You cheer for it to win. If it loses, oh well, you just spent that at the bar anyway.
Yep, and the toughest way I learned, too, I was that guy the one time I went against that. I actually had to text Neal Rule. I had to ask, where's the closest place I can get some gypsy vodka? Because I just lost all my money on Sadiq Bey over.
Boy, Sadiq Bey he's burned a lot of people in this town, man. It's feast or famine with Sadiq Bey.
It hurt. It hurt. It was 8 games with 30 or more points, and then out of nowhere, 8. It's 8 points total.
Honolulu Blue Sparty says, of course, Detroit passed on Jim Kelly. They passed on a lot of people in that draft. Robert says, Easy Rivers put up big numbers to receivers like Vincent Jackson. You were just remembering him in his later years.
Vincent Jackson was good.
He was.
Is he trying to discount Vincent Jackson? Well, he was. Vincent Jackson was great.
Yeah. One Funky Lions fan, number 2 class all time. Man, how people are young forget the 83 draft. And they do. What do you think? Because you're a little bit younger, Buck.
Uh-huh.
When I say those names, those John Elway, Jim Kelly, Dan Marino, all in the first round of the 83 draft.
That's amazing. I would put that over this class for sure. Because Eli and Ben make it tough, but John Elway, just growing up, those names were always romanticized with the history of football. I know Jim Kelly, he had the 3 Super Bowls in a row and come up empty-handed, but to even do that, he had to be a pretty damn good quarterback. I didn't get to watch him play live, so I'd be capping if I was saying, speak on his play and whatnot. But Dan Marino and John Elway, legendary names in the sport of football forever.
It's funny, too, that 1983 draft, number 1 was John Elway. That was when the Colts took him, and John Elway told the Colts not to take him. Number 2 was Eric Dickerson, another Hall of Famer. 6th overall pick, Jimbo Covert, was a Hall of Famer for the Bears. Bruce Matthews, a Hall of Famer for the Houston Oilers. That was the pick number 9. Pick number 13, the Lions took James Jones, a fullback, right in front of Jim Kelly.
That's the most Lions
everyone in the studio. And look, the younger Bucks, they don't understand that, but everyone here in the studio is getting a chuckle out of that one right now.
Oh, man.
Jim Kelly, obviously, Hall of Famer. Dan Marino went 27th overall in that first round. He was a Hall of Famer, and then the 28th overall pick, the Washington football team took Darrell Green, who was a Hall of Famer also.
How do you view, the changing of the game itself? Because I know, the defensive side of the football, you can barely touch the receivers now compared to when those guys were playing, too. It's when I look at these numbers, I always take that into factor. Dan Marino was putting up, a 5,000-yard season, back when, guys were getting mauled, at the line, getting mugged, getting their wallets stolen, stuff like that. Do you consider that in a factor, I guess, when debating this, or look at the yards and records being broken nowadays?
I mean, I take it under advisement, but I mean, it's also the era now that we're in, and the guys because I think we're in a Matt Stafford. I think is that's on me, guys. Let's stop that and back it up. I didn't mean to bring it up because I know where it's going to go.
Get over it.
I know where it's going to go with that. I think in this era of football right now, there's such a clear line at the quarterback spot that everybody's either really good or they're trash. There's very few Staffords and Rivers these days.
Yeah.
It's everybody's either elite or the other teams are searching the whole time for a quarterback. And that's why I kind of give the nod to the guys now that are doing it, because they're so rare. There's just not a lot of good quarterbacks, man.
Nowadays.
There's just not. Neal Rule for the Sports Marketing Agency. SMA has been leveraging pro athletes and other notables for a decade against the issues around mental health and substance use disorder. With the help of NFL alumni, Sean Jordan has been able to save lives and take a stand against these issues. Coming soon to Woodward Sports, the Sports Marketing Agency podcast entitled This is the F Word. It's a series on fentanyl. If you're struggling with substance abuse or mental health, they are here to help. Go to thesportsma.com. Again, that's thesportsma.com. Check out the new podcast, This is the F Word, brought to you by the Sports Marketing Agency.
6 dark corners, a driveway and a patio, 5 windows that could become doors. Every house has unique security challenges. Guardian Alarm has more tech, more team, and more ways to help keep them all safe. Get a professionally designed and installed security and smart home system from Guardian Alarm. Sign up today and get a free video device. Guardian Alarm. Smart, right from the start. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT.
Your Detroit alternative to the normal sports blah, blah, blah. It's Woodward Sports.
Back at it for the Woodward Sports Network. Easy in for D-Mac. Will be back in his regular appearance role on Monday. Happy to have you all with us. We got Sawyer, we got Sam Flannel in the house as well. Rich Diana says, Neal, you can put the dishes in the shower stall when you take a shower. That's pretty strong, actually.
It's a flex.
That is.
Yeah.
That is pretty strong, man. I like that. D. Smitty, can you imagine if the Lions would have gotten Jim Kelly? Wait, they probably would have found a way to bury his career. You know what's interesting about that? When you look back at like the evolution of the Lions franchise, when Wayne Fonts came in and they went to a run and shoot, and that's what Jim Kelly did that in the USFL and all that. Like, man, what could have been? It just, if Jim Kelly would have fell one more slot, maybe. But then again, one Funky Lions fan brought up a very good point. They felt they needed a fullback because they wanted to protect Billy Sims, couldn't take a risk on him getting an injury. Oh, wait. And that, when they had Billy Sims, he was a bad dude, man.
Yeah.
If he didn't get hurt, he could have been the greatest ever doing.
Terry was telling me at one of our remote broadcasts, he was a bad dude. But who was our quarterback then? They had Eric Hipple, Gary Danielson, Joe Ferguson. They drafted Chuck Long. He was a first-round pick. He was going to be the savior, and it just kind of never worked out. Yeah.
Just imagine that offense, Barry Sanders in the run and shoot with Jim Kelly at quarterback. Would have been like Jim Kelly with Thurman Thomas, I think, in a run and shoot style offense. Probably would have went to Super Bowls, man.
Yeah.
I had forgotten that Jim Kelly went the pick in front of James Jones, too.
I didn't.
Now do you guys see why I say, yes, I want the Rams to lose to be at 28 instead of 30?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Because that could be the line. Damn, look at that. When we do the draft shows, I'll be talking about that.
I was even thinking, too, like last night, now that Big Ben's retired, like the Steelers are going to need a quarterback or want a quarterback because for some reason they haven't taken one the years before to groom it, which I don't know why, unless they believe in Mason Rudolph. But I was like, we could add a trade asset for a team like the Steelers who just lost their quarterback and it need like a Sam Howell,
Yeah. Neal, is it now the gap between the elite quarterbacks and the average quarterback is greater than it was back in the day? There was a bigger gap between Brady and Goff than there was between Elway and Kramer. And that's an interesting way of thinking about it, too. That could be a lot of it, too, I think, is where back then your middle-tier quarterbacks like Boomer Esiason, or somebody like that, I guess, that weren't quite great but were very, very good. If you look at it now, there's like four guys and the rest of everybody else. Is there a big gap between Mahomes and Stafford?
No, it's not big. I
think there is.
Yeah.
Just based on the game, the ability that he can make a play with his feet. Like he has elite arm strength. The way he throws back across his body. He does everything that you're not supposed to do.
Stafford does that stuff too. He's just not as accurate or I feel like the game IQ isn't there. Where Mahomes, he's kind of like, I don't know, he's just dressing it up while he's running around, where Stafford kind of depending just solely on his arm strength to make the play.
The poll is still up here on the YouTube chat. We'll probably close this one out pretty soon. Is Neal ridiculous for running the dishwasher when it's not full? Caveat is we were out of bowls. No at 57%. Yes at 43%. We're getting close to calling that one. Sorry, the precincts.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know that there's enough votes out there to overturn that one. There's enough votes left. Yeah, we need the guy on the news network with the interactive map where you can zoom in on the counties.
Oh,
and
love that.
It's electric, isn't it?
So sick, yeah. We should get one of those for sure. So I can just do that with the polls and just tap.
It is, man. The election coverage is electric, dude.
Yeah.
Just with the interactiveness and how they can move the states all around. And
I feel like that dude just spends the whole year prepping for that, too. Just learning that board, knowing where every single county is.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
This is big for me, too, what Robert says. Eli never got drafted higher than the 4th round in any fantasy league. And I know that I always criticize people for letting fantasy and fantasy drafts and fantasy sports move in to real life. Mm-hmm. I'm very critical of people like that. But I do the same thing from time to time. And that was one of my big points about Stafford is during his time with the Lions, you see like the Mahomes and everybody, they're taken in the first round, if not the second round, depending on how your league is scored, and Aaron Rodgers and all that stuff. I said every year Stafford's always taken like in the 6th round at minimum, at the highest he's ever been. He's like a 6th round pick in every fantasy league. So no, he's not elite based on the fantasy stuff.
No, definitely. Well, yeah, you're right there. The thing is with him is there's empty yards. It's always a crap ton of yards.
But fantasy, that doesn't matter. Yards are yards, man.
Yards are yards, but they're not as much as touchdowns. Like you want touchdowns and less interceptions. Like his thing was lots of yards, some interceptions, and maybe a touchdown or two to offset. It was never really consistent with him here. He's the king of empty yards in Detroit when he was here.
Yeah. Ryan says Mahomes has Andy Reid, and that's fair too. But Mahomes creates a lot of that stuff, too, when the play breaks down. He's such a weapon when the play breaks down.
Yeah.
Honolulu Blue Sparty says we need a recount on the poll. Ryan's reaction, you don't pick QBs in the first 2 rounds of fantasy. Again, I said it's dependent on your league scoring. Some people have those wacky leagues where you get 6 points for
this guy's like Lamar Jackson. They're going to give you rushing stats as well as the passing. So it's like, yeah, I mean, there's another running back. Running backs are premium in fantasy football. Get a Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts. Won't hurt. No pun intended.
D. Smitty says Lions could have got Dan Marino or Dale Green too. Damn Lions. Well, everybody in the first round passed on those 2 guys. So, I mean, everybody, every single franchise could say that in the first round
I hate people say
of that draft.
Did people want Kelly, though? Was that a thing around? Like, who did people want around town? Like, who was like...
I
No.
I didn't know what was going on at that point.
Sorry, man. Sorry.
I was very, very little. I kind of studied back on the history of it and all that kind of stuff with everything that's gone on. So, yeah, it's just for me, that fantasy thing kind of rears itself too when I talk about the debates. I mean, you could say that, yeah, you don't take quarterbacks in the first 2 rounds of the fantasy draft or whatever, but it's always Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers. That's how elite those 2 are. That you'll take those guys, the first quarterback off the board in fantasy drafts. And to me, again, being critical of it, it hurts the all-time view of a Phillip Rivers, I guess, of a Matt Stafford, of an Eli Manning, that these guys were afterthoughts in fantasy football. Because this is the golden age of fantasy football. Once the 2000s hit, that's when fantasy football started popping. And, I mean, you had the dorks like us that played it in the 90s, and we had to tabulate the stats out of the newspaper on Monday, out of the box scores and stuff like that.
Did you ever cheat?
No, I never ran it, so
okay.
I couldn't cheat if I wanted to.
Oh, was just one guy who did all the scores?
Yeah, poor guy.
Shouts out to those guys. Wow.
That's why if it came down to me doing it or us not playing, guess what the outcome's going to be? Sorry, guys, we ain't playing.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I got dishes to do, man.
Honolulu Blue Sparty, revisionist history is the best. But it is, and that, to be honest with you guys, that kind of bothers me all the time. Like when people go back. The Jim Kelly one stings because you never know, because it was literally the pick in front of the Lions. So were they going to be steadfast in what they did? And James Jones was a very good player, I believe, out of the University of Florida. He was a very, very good college player. So, that's... I don't put a ton of stock in that, but if it's the pick in front of you, then you have to wonder.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't around back then either, so I can't speak too much to those guys with credibility.
Rule Black says, Neal's not ridiculous running dishwasher not full because without fail, on average, the dishes a family uses. But you come back that night, cookies and pancakes were made. Now you got 2 loads. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Black. That's my other point of it, too. Because the next morning, breakfast would have been made, and now we got to play catch-up. And, I like having all of it done and in the dishwasher and going. But then you got to wait. You got to let it run. Then you got to... We talked about the battle it is to get the kids to unload it. You got to fight that battle all again. Get them to unload it. You got to wait for them to cool off enough to where they can, handle them and all that stuff. And then you got to jockey it around and then put the next load of dishes in there because breakfast was made the next. I like the way you think. You're on it.
I like that.
I
DJ
do like
Cal
that.
Would say. So it was 1983 class over 04 for sure then, right?
If you want to be kind of dorky about it and go back, and I was pulling these up. I don't remember this stuff off the top of my head. 1971 class was pretty good with Joe Theismann and Archie Manning and Jim Plunkett. I don't think that it was on that level. 2005 had Aaron Rodgers, Alex Smith, Ryan Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick kind of carved out a career. Aaron Rodgers takes that class to a height. People sleep on Alex Smith. He was a Pro Bowler.
Alex Smith was good. He was serviceable. He was like a golfer, like a Garoppolo, I feel like.
That's fair. Yeah, like he had a run.
Yeah. A couple injuries. Honestly, I think he still could be playing. He just had that scare with his leg towards the end there. You have 98, Manning, Grease, Hasselbeck, but I don't think any of these classes are coming close to 04 or 83, though.
Yeah, they don't have that top-end appeal, certainly, that 2004 class does. When we come back, we're going to get into this whole – we're going to get into it, guys. AFC Championship, NFC Championship. I'm curious to get the pulse of the people. I know that everybody's going to talk about – the Stafford thing and stuff like that. But I want reasons as to why stuff is going to happen. This is as close, I guess, as we can get to kind of a geeky breakdown of the two games because I have some thoughts and, some if and, if this happens, maybe that'll happen and that will necessitate this. And we'll get into it. We'll start with the AFC when we come back. And we're right in the guts of the NFL playoffs right now. It is football season. It's time to get your grooming experience easy, like Sunday morning. Get to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk in, relax, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair is game ready. Go to Lady Jane's, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Life is full of hard choices. We're here to make one of life's biggest decisions as simple as possible. My name is Christina Gennari, and for over 20 years, I've helped hundreds of families buy and sell homes. We cover all of Metro Detroit and more, from large luxury homes to starter homes. We will work hard to make sure that you get the home of your dreams. So if you're in the market today or even thinking about buying or selling in the future, make the obvious choice. Christina Gennari, the obvious choice in real estate. Visit us at soldchristina.com today.
Follow us everywhere. Just search Woodward Sports on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, IG, and more.
Off and running, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Neal Rule easy in the house for D-Mac. He will be back on Monday, but we're wrapping NFL Championship Sunday. We'll know the Super Bowl participants at about 10 o'clock-ish on Sunday night. First up, Kansas City Chiefs, the Cincinnati Bengals. Chiefs with those two Super Bowl trophies. As you see, the Bengals looking for their first one. They played in two Super Bowls, ironically enough, against the 49ers. Ironically enough, just down the road, one of them was from here at the old Pontiac Silverdome. The Chiefs right now, as I look at mybookie.ag here in the MyBookie studios, Kansas City Chiefs have just bumped up to a 7.5-point favorite. Get a little bit of a break on the juice at -105. Bengals plus 7.5, -115. The total, 54.5. That's shading towards the over as well. And nobody bets under, so I would imagine that will probably move on up to 55 at some point before Sunday kicks off. And I guess we'll start with it. You guys on the YouTube chat, feel free to tap in, social media as well. But easy, the floor is yours. Just the 30,000-foot view of this one. What do you see? What do you like? How do you think it's going to play out?
I've seen atrocious Kansas City defense. It's been getting torn up towards the end of the season, once by the Bengals themselves. Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow put on a show. I think Joe Burrow had over 440 yards. Jamar Chase, 3 touchdowns, 11 catches, 12 targets. Pat Mahomes didn't rise to the occasion in that game, 259 yards, but we just saw what he did last week. He's always a threat, and he has threats along with them, and Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, and the rest of the crew. I mean, all you need is a guy, it feels like, on that team to run a subpar 4-3, and you got a guy he's going to score with, But ultimately, man, I think it comes down to what we saw out of Patrick Mahomes last week that gives Kansas City the edge. Because I'm not going to sit here and lie to you like they're the overall better team. I think they just have the better quarterback and superior weapons for sure. Actually, I'd have to say. But I'm not discounting the Bengals in this matchup, man. They can put it up. We saw Joe Burrow take 9 sacks, and they still somehow found a way to do it. We saw Joe Burrow beat this exact team, Kansas City Chiefs. Jamar Chase, as a rookie, made those entire secondary look like clowns out there, man. I'm not discounting them. I'm really not. I like Joe B. I think the moment might be a little too big for them, though, if they come down and get down a little bit. And I think what might save them, though, at the same time, is Joe Mixon. If they could run that football. And we spoke about this, actually, during their Week 17 matchup. I think it was either you or Scott on the betting show. But if they can run the football, keep it out of Patrick Mahomes' hands, they got a shot. But ultimately, after I saw it Patrick Mahomes last week, I'm not going against that. I just can't, dude.
No, and that's where it is, because they seem to be clicking right now. And here's the deal. Here's why it's different. And I know that a lot of people are going to go back to it and say, well, look what happened in the Super Bowl last year to the Chiefs. The Bengals got that win over the Chiefs earlier this year. Mahomes is healthy. Mm-hmm. His offensive line is healthy. That's good enough for me.
Exactly.
Because for my money, Patrick Mahomes is the best player in the National Football League.
Hands down.
He is. To me, he's the best player in the National Football League. I mean, I know like the MVP moves around and stuff like that, but if I had to win a game tomorrow, Patrick Mahomes is a dude I'm taking. Period. End of story. And there's no debate in my mind. Like, you could talk about Tom Brady and stuff like that. And I'm really, in retrospect, I'm crushed that he lost 40% of his offensive line for the Super Bowl last year with what happened to Eric Fisher, when you look at the injuries they sustained on the offensive line, because it just wasn't the same. And you do need an offensive line.
Yes.
You do. Like, you can get by in a game as the Bengals got by in a game. And I'll tell you this, if the Chiefs sack Joe Burrow 9 times, they'll get crushed in this game.
Absolutely. Like, they're going to have to keep him upright because it's going to be a shootout. And they're going to have to keep him upright enough to make the plays. Jamar Chase did it once before. This time it's going to be an Arrowhead. I mean, there's your difference maybe. Actually, Chiefs might crush them, man, to be honest with you. Because now the Chiefs are at home, they have that defense on the offensive side of the football. That crowd, the loudest in the NFL, is going to be going crazy on an already bad offensive line. Chiefs going to crush them.
And that's where it is, too, because this is where it's different than the game that they played in Cincinnati. Number one, they're in Kansas City, right? I mean, the Chiefs are dominant in the playoffs at home. Patrick Mahomes is dominant at home in the playoffs. It'll hit different for the Bengals, I think, from minute one in that football game to know that if you do not score, this is as close to arena football as we get. You guys have heard me talk about arena football before, which I think you're going to see more and more of the principles applied to the NFL, which we'll talk about that at a different time. The Bengals play this game with a constant pressure in the back of their mind on offense, where every 3rd and 4 is imperative. I mean, from second one, when the ball is kicked off, even the coin flip's huge in the Chiefs game if you're the Bengals. Because you want that second half possession. You do.
Yeah.
Like, you want to try to balance those possessions out. If the Chiefs win the coin toss and the Bengals get the ball first, there's even more pressure amplified on that first drive, because every 3rd and 4 becomes imperative. Because if you punt, that could be it. I'm not saying it will be, but you have to approach it like that.
Yeah.
And that way, I think that weighs on an offense. I think that weighs on Joe Burrow. The offensive linemen have to be precise. The receivers have to catch every pass. It's all the same stuff that applies in every single road playoff game you play. Mm-hmm. Like, you have to. I don't say the Bengals have to play perfect to win, but they better be damn close to perfect if they want to win.
I'll tell you what, Josh Allen played damn near perfect last week, and he still lost.
That's true. And that's Curtis Godfrey says exactly that. Josh Allen was perfect, and they still lost. And that's what it is. And Chuck Brewer says you want to win, you got to keep your quarterback clean. D. Smitty says Kansas City just can't underestimate the Bengals. And I don't think that applies to the Chiefs. And here's why. Because what the Chiefs do is all execution based. If they execute to the level that they're capable of executing, which they pretty much did in the Buffalo game, they can't be beat. And they certainly can't be beat by the Bengals.
I agree wholeheartedly. Add in, like we said, the atrocious offensive line. Like, the only way the Bengals can win this, in my opinion, after they factor in the offensive line and whatnot, is if they could run the football with Joe Mixon and keep the ball out of Patrick Mahomes' hands. I mean, that's kind of how they did it. And that's not how they did it actually the first time around. They had to win the shootout. But with this one being at Arrowhead, Patrick Mahomes and this Kansas City roster being there in this moment, I think 4 times now in the AFC Championship now. Like
it's just business as usual for them when they roll out there. M. Whitty in our YouTube chat thread has a brilliant point, I think. And this is something where I was kind of building up to this. The Bengals have to put up at least 34 points to win, and I don't see them coming anywhere near that with an atrocious offensive line. They got away with the offensive line play because the Titans couldn't make them pay from an offensive perspective. 9 sacks will not work. 6 sacks will not work. 5 sacks will not work because those are the drive killers. The sack is the new turnover in the NFL. That's why edge rushers are going 1 and 2 or 2 and 3 in the NFL draft because that is the new defensive touchdown.
Well, it literally takes points off the board. It takes you guys out of field goal range. I think it happened last week with the Bengals, actually, where they had in a moment where they could have kicked another field goal, which was getting kind of ugly there. It was becoming like a kick. Fish would have loved it, kicking contest there. But a sack from that Tennessee Titans defense kept them out of field goal range, and they were forced to punt. What do you think, Flannel Sam?
I think the Chiefs are going to crush them, honestly, because especially watching that Tennessee defense absolutely maul that offensive line. The Chiefs have some players. They've got Frank Clark. They have Chris Jones. And on offense, of course, they have Patrick Mahomes. The greatest quarterback I think I've seen with my own eyes. And weapons, Tyreek Hill, Mecole Hardman, Travis Kelce. It's going to be something like 35-14.
Yeah. Are you taking the over?
See, like, I always get weary when people say it's a slam dunk. Mm-hmm. That the game will be a shootout. It'll be 38-31 or something like that. I always get weary of that. I wonder about the Bengals' ability to score points. And some people have talked about the Bengals' defense. Now, don't get me wrong. Tyrann Mathieu is a big component of this football game, I think, because big-time guys seem to make big-time plays. And that's why when we talk about the Rams, that's why I'm such a believer in the Rams. And it isn't because of Stafford or anything like that. It's because you have Aaron Donald and you have Jalen Ramsey. And I know Ramsey got cooked in that game, but that's the nature of that position. You get cooked, just like quarterbacks throw interceptions.
Yeah.
Cornerbacks get beat. That's just the nature of the beast. So, Tyrann Mathieu is a big factor this game. I haven't heard. I haven't looked lately. I haven't heard. Last I heard, he was still questionables. But Chris Jones, Frank Clark, those guys can get to the quarterback on occasion. And when you look at it, too, I understand, like, people will say, this Chiefs team, their defense isn't great or anything like that. It's not the Titans' defense or anything like that. I understand that. But the playoffs, and it's playoff football, it's playoff basketball, everything. Playoffs shrink. And what I mean by that is when things shrink, the rotations shrink, your top-end guys play more plays, they're out there more, they're out there longer. How much better they are, how much better a Chris Jones is, how much better a Frank Clark is, that shows more in the playoffs because they're out there more. They're going to be the ones to make the plays. And that's where it is. I mean, I'll say this, too. If you're going to give up sacks, can we agree that Bengals are going to give up sacks in this game? I think we can all agree on that. Even
absolutely.
Even the people in the YouTube chat thread that are picking the Bengals. I think we can all agree that Bengals are going to give up sacks. Dudes like that, dudes like Chris Jones and Frank Clark, they'll wreck a game. They'll create the big turnover. Like the Chiefs go down and score, and then boom, there's a turnover on the second play that the Bengals have the football, and the Chiefs score again. That's not where you want to be living, man.
3 sacks between the pair in Week 17, and I know the Bengals won that game ultimately, but it was only by 3 points, and they're at home. And they had video game numbers to go with it. Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow were going dumb. Like that's hard to replicate. I don't know if that's going to happen again. Like, you got to look at what they did to make that happen, and that's I doubt we're going to see that again. Plus, when you face, I think historically when teams face each other within like 30 days, 45 days, it always goes the opposite. You look at the national championship, Alabama and Georgia. Georgia ended up coming up on top on that one. You got, even go back to last year with Tampa Bay. They got smoked by the Saints in the regular season twice, 2-0. What happened? Tampa Bay smacked them in the playoffs. I think that's going to be another situation like that here.
Abe DFS Docket says Bengals put up 19 against a 5th worst pass defense. They're going to struggle to score. They're also not facing a scrub quarterback like Tannehill.
Yeah,
but 2 guys, man, that their legacies really took a hit last weekend were Aaron Rodgers. No one's talking about Ryan Tannehill, man. Like everything people said about Ryan Tannehill was on display that day.
Yeah,
like people think he's just. He should be playing in the USFL now or something like that,
Could be a Michigan Panther next year.
DMAP Zoom says, yes, the Bengals will be giving up sacks. I mean, well, then that's what it is.
Yeah.
Because you can't – that's what I talk about where when you play Kansas City at Kansas City, those little things, going back to it, the coin toss even is big. Because good teams – and I've noticed this with the Chiefs. I've said this forever about the Patriots – and Sawyer, maybe you can back this up because I've seen the Colts do this a few times too, where maybe they overachieve. Teams that are getting the ball to start the second half, it's really funny how they always score inside the 2-minute warning of the second quarter, almost all the time like clockwork.
Yep. It's very convenient, you know?
It's really weird how that works.
It's like a whole plan, you know, that comes together.
Weird, isn't
great.
it?
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, and those are the types of... It's just... You see what I'm saying with this? Like, there's going to be constant pressure on the Bengals. Just constant.
I kind of want anyone who's like taking the Bengals, like, call in. I want to be sold on this because, like, how can you possibly think it's them? Like, I get they won, but again, it was by 3 points. They're at home, and they had a freaking video game day. I doubt that's going to happen again. A guy almost threw for 500 yards. I guess he did throw for 500 yards against the Ravens, though, didn't he?
Yeah. Cody Engel. The Tannehill had a legacy, LOL. No, you guys know what I mean, though, right? Like, I felt like he was starting to take on that status of you can win. You know, Tannehill can win with a good team. If you give him a good running game and a good defense, you can get by with Tannehill. That has all been driven in. That's been a plane crash now. That's been driven into the ground, and he'll be hated on for the rest of time. Like he's viewed as a scrub quarterback now. Because of that performance. That's why I love this. Mm-hmm. Again, going back to what I talked about all week. That's why I love the NFL playoffs, because legacies are on the line all the way around. This becomes big for Mahomes now. Like he needs to cash this in, and win another Super. I'm not even talking about this game. I'm talking about the Super Bowl. Yeah, because he lost one. Now, granted, he was running for his life and his whole offensive line was hurt, but that's not what people think about. They think about how he lost to Tom Brady. Yep. So, to some degree, the view of his legacy is on the line. Certainly we know what's on the line for Matt Stafford.
They'll never surpass Tom Brady now because of that, for sure.
Probably not. Just because of that one performance. And it wasn't even his fault, but that's the way this stuff works. Yep. We know what's on the line for Matt Stafford, which we'll talk about when we come back. Can we please not go down the Lions route with Stafford? Can we just independently look at the Rams-49ers game? Because I have some thoughts on Jimmy Garoppolo, too, and where the 49ers franchise might go. I know you guys were talking about 58% of the poll on YouTube thinks that the Chiefs will win. That's more than I thought. That's more
votes for the Bengals than you thought?
Yeah, that's more votes for the Bengals than I thought there would be. When we come back, we'll talk about this Rams-49ers game. I have a couple key questions about Jimmy Garoppolo. A little bit later on in the show, I have to crush Easy for this nonsense about the Lions trading for Michael Thomas. We're going to take a lot of time on that. I'll just present you the numbers, and then we'll all be able to move on from Easy's nonsense.
It's Adam. It's your boy Adam.
What? Still nonsense. I love Adam. I do. Yes. But that is nonsense. We'll be back talking NFC Championship. It is Big D Energy right here on the Woodward Sports Network. Cintron World's an aspirational lifestyle beverage brand with a line of sparkling flavored energy beverages, premium bottled water, and revitalizer shots. Cintron, the official energy drink of the Detroit Red Wings, proud partners with the Pistons, and exclusively served at Little Caesars Arena. If you're looking for premium ingredients, long-lasting energy, balanced hydration, essential vitamins, and let's bottom line this, folks, great taste. That's a baseline. That's a non-negotiable. Not going to drink it if it doesn't taste good. That's why Cintron is the top choice. Buy online at CintronWorld.com with the promo code RedWings10. Save 10% with shipping included. Drink it. Live it. Like people here in the Woodward Sports Studio are doing right now with Cintron.
Okay, you thirsty little spin goblins. I want you to pedal into the next dimension. Spin it! Spin! Spin! Uh-oh! Carmen's falling behind. Let's give her the hiss of shame. Spin! Spin! Spin till you bleed!
Don't ride the bike of shame. Come to Planet Fitness and find your own lane with tons of equipment, free fitness training, and no hissing. Join today for just $10 a month.
What's the over-under? Should I tease? Who is the lock of the night? Make sure you're watching Woodward Bets to get the latest in sports betting and more. Woodward Bets daily on Woodward Sports.
Back at it, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, pulling up all in the second hour of the show. My name is Neal Rule. Easy in the chair for Darren McCarty. He's got a couple less Stanley Cups than Darren McCarty does. Sorry, Easy.
Why you put me on blast like that,
hey, bro.
How many you got, Neal?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Well, D-Mac and I together have 4. We got Sam Flannel in the house. We got Sawyer in the house as well, pulling out hitters on the Folding Warehouse Mystery Beer vending machine. There is no question about that. Time to flip the script now and take a look at the NFC Championship game. MyBookie.ag, the Rams a 3.5-point favorite straight up, over under 45.5 straight up as well. Both of those minus 110. But curious to get your guys' thoughts on the YouTube chat thread. And I'll tell you what, everyone's going to talk about Stafford. I get that. And I'm trying to keep that clear of the whole Lions debate and all that kind of stuff. I'm trying to come at it logically. I forget who it was. Oh, here it is. Grummo237. Gromit0237. You're asking a lot. Lions fans think logically. That's pretty funny. But I am going to start it on the 49ers end. Because for me, and Joey 2 times says Jimmy Garoppolo's gone. If he wins this game, and it's not out of the question.
Who's he?
Jimmy Garoppolo.
Uh-huh.
We're starting the conversation with Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm hitting everybody with a curveball here. You guys told me you've had enough of the Matt Stafford stuff.
You did hit him with the curveball, but yes.
So I hit you with a curveball here because they are playing. Jimmy Garoppolo. Everyone shares, I think, Joey 2 times views that Garoppolo's out. He's going to be gone. The 49ers are going a different direction. They drafted Trey Lance. My question is, and we talk about legacies and what's on the line with Mahomes, certainly with Matt Stafford. If Jimmy Garoppolo wins this game and goes to a second Super Bowl in the course of 4 years, like, what more do you want out of the guy? You know what I'm saying? Like, why is it a slam dunk that he's gone?
I mean,
why is he taking so much slander? I'll put it to the young people out there. Why is he taking so much slander?
He's like Jared Goff in a 49ers uniform, probably. Be the reason why. Like, you look at the win last week, it wasn't because of Jimmy G, right? It was that defense. Their rushing attack for San Fran has been phenomenal. I mean, they're stunting on people. They're literally putting in Deebo Samuel to run the football. Like, that's how great this rushing attack is. They're so versatile with it. I think Trent Williams is a big reason why that is. Like, I think the way the 49ers system is ran, and even going back to when Kyle Shanahan was in Atlanta, I think he's proven that he's got the recipe. Just give him the pieces. And if he has if Trey Lance is what they drafted him to be, I mean, Jimmy G's gone, man. Like, he's more versatile. He could do a lot more things than he's limited to right now in the hands of Jimmy G. The 49ers win in spite of Jimmy G. He can get it done, right? But sometimes he bonehead mistakes. Tennessee Titans, I guess, a game I touched back on Thursday Night Football. They had to game the Raps, two end zone interceptions, red zone interceptions, and they went in spite of him, I guess would be the way to put it.
See, but for me then, I mean, like, you go back to last year when he only played 6 games, what happened to the 49ers then?
Boo-boo. But they didn't have a Trey Lance in the wings back then. And now they do. And it goes back to clearing up that draft capital that we both love, by the way. Like, I'm a big fan of that as well. You have a rookie on a quarterback on a rookie deal. Now you get some weapons. Now you get some other guy to pair with Deebo Samuel, and you get nasty out there. And Kyle Shanahan sure as hell can do it.
It just seems like he takes a ton of slander, and I don't understand it, because when he plays, they win, and when he doesn't play, they lose. Like, that's what it is. And if you beat the Rams and you go to a second Super Bowl, I don't understand how you. And again, it's pretty much universal in the YouTube chat thread. I'm just asking the question. Am I saying he's great? No, I'm not saying he's great. But it's really weird how when he plays for them, they win. It's really weird how if he beats the Rams, he's in the Super Bowl for the second time in 3 years. And the year in between, when he was hurt, they weren't. You know what I'm saying?
What's this meme say?
Oh, they're talking about the Rams, please don't take over our stadium again. We talked about that whole ordeal that was going on before.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a home game for the 49ers.
Yeah, there is. There's no doubt. M. Whitty says, Cody Engel says, Jimmy G is the Cade McNamara of the 49ers.
Yeah.
David Barbier says, because he's always injured, Garoppolo. Matt Carrier says, Jimmy G can't carry the team if he's injured. So, it's for me, I don't understand the amount of slander that he gets. Jake Wegener, Neal, you need a rookie contract discount. Also, Neal, why does everyone think Jimmy G is gone? No, and when you have the dude, when you have a guy that is taking you to 2 out of 3 Super Bowls, I'm not saying he's trash like everybody else. Like, people think he's Ryan Tannehill. That's my point. I'm not saying start your franchise with the guy. I'm saying why is it just universal slander for him?
Because he's like a class up from Ryan Tannehill, I guess I have to say. Like I would credit Kyle Shanahan for a lot of his success, and Bill Belichick. He's had great coaches, great systems with them. Like, I don't think he's far from Ryan Tannehill. Like, I think the gap between he and Tannehill is smaller than the one between Stafford and Mahomes. Like, I think they're right on par. Flannel Sam, I know you're very opinionated with the quarterbacks.
I think the problem with Jimmy G and the thing that people don't like and I don't like is that he's 4-1 in the playoffs and has had 0 great playoff games. In this playoffs, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. The last game, he was absolutely awful. And if the 49ers don't block a punt and return it for a touchdown, they lose. Remember the NFC Championship game where he threw 8 passes? He has a great coach, an offensive genius, Kyle Shanahan. He has Trent Williams, probably the best tackle in the NFL. Deebo Samuel, George Kittle. The defense is always good. That's why people don't like quarterback wins. He's 4-1 in his playoff career, and I believe Josh Allen is 3-3. Josh Allen, you see how he played, and see how Jimmy Garoppolo played. He gets too much credit. Well, I know people are dissing him, but for people who say he wins, it's a team game.
See, but then you pull up Rodgers' numbers in that game. He threw for 225 yards and no touchdowns.
Rodgers was not good at all. I'm going to be the first one to say that.
I would guess I would guess the conditions probably played a factor in that. If Aaron Rodgers didn't throw a touchdown pass either,
well, he also didn't.
He's not. I'm not saying Jimmy Garoppolo's the answer. Okay, I'm not saying that. I'm just curious why he catches the slander he catches when he's 4-1 in the playoffs. When he's, if they beat the Rams, he's going to go to the Super Bowl for a second time in 3 years. Lloyd Plata says Neal Rule thinks wins are a QB stat. It's why he isn't a Stafford guy. And no, I think there is a thing to winning a game, though. I do.
But he's never the reason they've won a game, especially in the playoffs. Again, like this year in the NFC Championship, Sam said it best: 0 touchdowns in the postseason, 2 interceptions.
So he played 6 games last year, and the 49ers are picking 3rd in the draft. I mean, I know there was trades involved and stuff like that.
That's
but
because they had a backup quarterback. I mean, there's worse than him. No one's saying that.
Well, okay then.
Yeah, but I mean, it doesn't make him good. That makes him sufficient. He's a body.
Their backup was C.J. Beathard.
No, and I understand all this. I do. I get it. It's just I don't understand the slander that's on the man's name. And you know what? If you want to be honest with it, too, with Garoppolo, and I guess, he's coming up. He'll be an unrestricted free agent. He's 31 and all that kind of stuff. It's just, for me, I'm running it back with him next year. I am. Especially if he beats the Rams and goes to another Super Bowl, I'm running it back with them again.
Hold on, Mr. Draft Capital, right. Mr. Cap Space guy. You're running it back with the quarterback who's subpar and a hell of a lot more expensive than the rookie quarterback in the wings that you drafted 3rd overall, traded half your franchise draft capital to get him. You're running it back with Jimmy G.
You got him under the contract, right? Doesn't he have 1 more year left on the contract?
Trade him because there's guys like you who believe in him.
Well, I'm not. But you guys tell me he sucks, so what am I going to get for him in the trade market?
Well, you got to get him off your roster regardless. Be done with him. You have Trey Lance in the wings. Offers you more cap space to go draft, because you're not drafting high class skill position guys, right? Because you traded all that away to get Trey Lance. Well, now you trade away Jimmy G, and now you have some cap space to sign some skill players.
Honolulu Blue Sparty, avoiding mistakes is a skill. Big throws and big moments is a skill. Got to give Jimmy G his dues, and that's it. That's my point. Ryan's reaction says Jimmy G is greater than Goff. And I know, like Matt says, look at his stats. He isn't the reason they win. But he does what he's supposed to do. That's GW the Kid. Jimmy gets hated because he does what he's supposed to do. He's on a run. He's on a run-first scheme team. I just don't have a problem with it. And Benji, to go, do you forget how injured the 49ers were last year? Yeah, namely Jimmy Garoppolo. Because the last year before that, when he was healthy, they were in the Super Bowl.
Actually, he has a great point. George Kittle went out. A lot of the guys went out.
Yeah, Bosa got hurt. I get that.
Yeah, everyone actually was out.
But so did Jimmy G.
But dude,
if everybody else was healthy for the 49ers.
It's a team game.
Well, which is it?
Majority of the team was hurt.
Which is it then? Which is it? What do you got, Sam Flannel?
Well, in the playoffs, wouldn't it be great if every quarterback could have a defense that holds Aaron Rodgers to 10 and the Cowboys and Dak Prescott to 17? It's a team game. Jimmy Garoppolo does not have to do that much to win games. It's been that way his whole playoff career.
I just don't understand the slander.
There's just so many injuries for them last year, too. I'm not counting that.
Yeah, namely Jimmy G.
Beathard. Not mainly Jimmy G. You had George Kittle, it's their go-to guy.
I was just told C.J. Beathard's awful.
C.J. Beathard is awful.
He is, but you also have the weapons and stuff, too, that Jimmy G threw to or utilized gone as well.
Well, and don't forget about Nick Bosa. He was gone the whole year.
And look, there's no bigger Nick Bosa fan than I am. Like, that dude changes some things. Again, I'm not saying start your franchise with Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, why does he take on, especially if they win this football game, man? How can you deny this dude? You can't say he's trash. He'll be 5-1 in the playoffs. He'll be to his second Super Bowl. And by the way, his only playoff loss ever was in the Super Bowl. Like, you can't hate on him. You can't say he's awful.
We're not saying he's awful. He's just not great. He's not good. He's not. I'm not carrying him into battle next year on a bigger contract than I have Trey Lance. Who could be bad for cheaper with more weapons.
I don't know. I don't understand how you can turn your back on that. But wait, we'll keep discussing this game. We do have to talk about the Rams as well when we come back. And look, let me tell you, we're talking about great defenses, right? And certainly the 49ers have a great defense. Nick Bosa is the guardian alarm of a defense, because guardian alarm gets it. A good defense on and off the field helps you feel secure. Guardian alarm, state-of-the-art technology, helps you feel safe, all with 24/7 local monitoring. Guardian Alarm has a convenient feature that lets you check in on your home, control lights and temperatures, detect smoke or carbon monoxide. It'll even let you lock and unlock the doors. Boys, call 1-800.
Stay out.
One more again.
You guys sounded like Jimmy G. I was Jimmy G calling the signals right there. Let's try that again. Call 1-800.
Stay out.
There we go. Guardian Alarm has been trusted for over 90 years at keeping families safe. One last time, that's 1-800.
Stay out! Get out of my house!
Guardian Alarm, your local security experts.
Everything that we've hoped for, finally.
He's going deep, right side. Oh, that is Edwards out there. He goes up in the air at the goal line.
Hey, it's Brandon Edwards here, wanting to welcome the sports marketing agency to Woodward Sports Network, to the family. Glad to have you guys. For the last decade, the sports marketing agency has literally leveraged athletes around issues such as mental health and substance abuse.
It's all happening now.
No off-season for us. We're talking sports 365. Detroit Sports Network. Woodward Sports.
Back on and popping. Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Neal Rule, easy in the house for Darren McCarty. We have Sam Flannel in the house. We have Sawyer as well. Got to take a look at the LA Rams in this game as well. And look, we know what's on the line for Matt Stafford. Again, another legacy game. We've got a lot of legacy games here on the line, but that's the nature of this beast. That's why the NFL playoffs are so great, and certainly Championship
legacy's
Sunday.
made.
Yeah, no, it is.
These
I know it's cliche, and I know it's kind of dorky, but that is the case. Like, this is where it all goes down, man. People that win this game, it adds to your value, man. It just does. It's big time, and I guess no bigger than for number 9, Matt Stafford. I think I saw a stat when I was running on the treadmill today at Planet Fitness. Matt Stafford, 13th season, I believe. It's the latest in a career to have his first Super Bowl start. So, Matt Stafford's there. He's got a shot at it now. And look, for me, I've been on this the whole season long. My opinion hasn't changed. I don't hate Matt Stafford. I think he's a very good player. I think he's going to go into the Hall of Fame regardless of what happens this weekend. I think he's going to go into the Hall of Fame when it's all said and done for him. I don't even have disdain for the Rams. My rooting against the Rams was based in my fandom of the Lions because it benefited the team I rooted for. That's been well established. It's got nothing to do with Matt Stafford personally. Through all of that, I think the LA Rams will break through. I think they'll beat the 49ers in this game, and it just keeps coming back to it with me, and they haven't let me down yet. In all the spots I've looked to them, they haven't let me down yet. It got dicey for a minute in that Tampa Bay game, but Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey, those are the guys. We talk about Jimmy G being a game manager or Jimmy G being lucky and all that kind of stuff. Then the Rams defense should have no problem asserting themselves this week. So do the 49ers, based on everybody's thoughts here, what I was told, do the 49ers, do they struggle to get into double digits offensively in this game?
I believe so, yeah. I think one of the biggest things heading into this game, I don't know if a lot of people are aware of, but Trent Williams the number one overall tackle in the NFL, in my opinion, and PFF's opinion as well, ranked number one all across the line. He allows them to be so versatile in that running game. Like, they're just so nasty with it. You'll see the same formation like 7 times in the same game, but it's different. I mean, obviously it's how football is played, right? But no one does it like Kyle Shanahan. It's just the wrinkles within his offense is disgusting, and Trent Williams is a big part of that. Other than that, like, you have some more injuries too. Like Deebo Samuel practiced this week, yes, but big thing I remember from last week's game is him hopping off the field. George Kittle banged up. He was hurt too last week. Jimmy G banged up throughout the postseason too. Like, the Rams deserve to be here. They played phenomenal football. I think the only team to cool them off is themselves, and you saw that last week with Cam Akers, but they're also facing like some injury-riddled teams on the way too. On top of them being phenomenal, like, they're a great overall team. You have Aaron Donald and Von Miller on the same defensive line. Like, that's
I didn't even bring up Von Miller, by the way.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
Really weird. All of a sudden, now the playoffs are here. Now he's young Von Miller again.
I was
that's
just
the way it works.
saying that. I forget who I had the conversation with, but it's
because
like
that goes back to my point about the playoffs, where everything shrinks.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be out there more. He's going to step up because this is the time. I know people are critical of athletes sometimes. They'll be like, why can't you just play like that all season? Because you can't. Because you can't physically do it.
Mm-hmm.
There are times where you have to raise your game.
Yeah.
And you can't go at that speed. Nobody can do that. No, my job, I work at. I can't go 100% every second of every day. You can't, or else it wouldn't be 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where it is. And now that's the other angle of it too. Guys like Von Miller.
Mm-hmm. And I want to say this too, like, one of the greatest postseason runs in my mind that comes to mind, would you say Joe Flacco, right? When he won the Super Bowl?
Sure.
So I did a little bit of homework last night because I think Stafford, as much as I've been a truther in his time here in Detroit and the playoff games he's had, no matter what you say about what he's doing now, he wasn't performing like he is now. Now, I pulled up some, like I said, I did some homework. I want to compare Matt Stafford's playoff numbers this year to Joe Flacco's in that run. It's not far off. Joe Flacco at this point, 2 games played, 613 yards. Matthew Stafford, 568. Now, granted, Stafford's been one blowout for sure in the Cardinals game where they only threw the ball 17 times and they got to run a little bit. 5 touchdowns for Flacco at this point, 4 for Stafford, 30 completions for Flacco, 41 for Stafford, 74 completion percentage for Stafford as well. On top of, he had, I think, he had 2 rushing touchdowns or at least 1 for sure in the Cardinals game. He's running the football a little bit too. Like, as much as I've been a truther of Stafford in his time here, that boy is balling right now in LA.
No question, man.
He is phenomenal this postseason.
No question. I mean, for me, again, I think that the Rams break through in this game, and Matt Stafford will be fine. Can he avoid the critical mistake? I think he will be able to. And if you do that, the Rams defense, oddly enough, Stafford, I don't think in my mind will have to dominate this football game. I think that the Rams will be able to control this thing defensively. I honestly believe that.
And that's been the case, like, the majority of these playoffs. Like, the only thing that's going to cool these guys down is themselves. Now, whether that's Stafford or McVay not trusting Stafford and wanting to run the clock down with Akers, and Akers failing in that moment, like, it's going to be themselves to beat themselves. That's what it's going to take. As much as people romanticizing the past and John Madden passing this year and they want the 49ers and Bengals matchup to happen again, like, I just don't think it's happening. These teams, the Chiefs and the Rams, are hot, and these quarterbacks playing for them especially, they're just rolling.
And it is. It's a lot to overcome, too. I think with the Bengals going back to it, your young quarterback, road playoff game, which I know that they went into Tennessee and won, and but I was told that Tannehill's awful. So, a different beast to go into Kansas City and win in an AFC championship game. That's a whole nother level. That's the level.
Yeah.
And they're great. And don't get me wrong. To be honest with you guys, if I could be any franchise right now, if I could have the Lions be any franchise, I would want them to be the Cincinnati Bengals right now.
It'd be so awesome.
Quarterback and a wide receiver in Burrow and Chase at $17 million a year for the next 2 years. That's incredible. 8 draft picks next draft. They could take 8 offensive linemen and roll out and run it back.
Yeah.
Like they are primed. They are primed to make a move, and I'm talking about in history of the NFL. I'm not calling it or anything like that. They have the potential. They have the ability. They have the opportunity to do that based on how their franchise is set up right now. And, man, I'm very, very big on the Bengals, just not this weekend, just like I'm not big on the 49ers this weekend.
Yeah, and you pointed out a big thing, too. Like, again, that quarterback on the rookie deal, Jamar Chase on the rookie deal. They're going to have some cap space to go grab some offensive tackles here next season. And if not, like, They have the draft capital, it seems, too. Eight picks. Like, go get you someone.
Which they probably will. Cody Engel, Stafford's played pretty mistake-free football in the playoffs.
It's been phenomenal.
Let Stafford ball and don't go run heavy. And, it's – for me, that's the only way I think that the 49ers can stay in this football game is the Rams' offense is going to have to turn it over. Like, they're going to have to help. I think that's the thing with the Bengals, and that's usually the case with the road team when you get to the conference championship game, is when you're on the road, you need help from the home team. Mm-hmm. And when I say you need help, you need them to make mistakes and to aid your cause. Because even good football teams, even teams that have made it this far, they still need that help, just like the Bengals certainly needed that help from Tannehill last week. That's why they won.
Yeah, that third pick kind of sealed it. I mean, they got themselves too when they went 4 on 2 for what seemed like no reason, the Titans last week. But I 100% agree. That's why I said the only thing to cool down the Rams is going to be the Rams. And hey, it can happen. Like, we've all been here 12 years watching Matthew Stafford. We see him throw plenty of interceptions. LA got to witness it, too, in the back half of the season. Like, it can happen. And it seems like they can't really rely on Cam Akers to close out the game either, because how many fumbles did he have last week? 2 or 3?
He had 2, and I was about to say the Rams cooled themselves off last weekend. They tried every which way to barf all over themselves.
And with that, too, though, is like the Niners and their offensive output. Like, I don't know if it's going to be there because – they're banged up. Trent Williams, like, again, I think is like what makes them or helps them be them. He's going against Von Miller, who's turning it up again, like we said. Aaron Donald, and then his weapons are injured on top of that. Debo, Kittle, everyone's banged up, man. Debo.
I'm gonna tuck mine in. Daniel Gray, and I was actually looking for a point like this because this is a very, very fair point by Daniel Gray. The Rams' undersized defensive line always struggles with the 49ers' offensive line. 49ers will stuff the ball down their throat and control the Rams' line once again. And that has been the narrative. When the 49ers have won, it has been because, like, you looked at the last game where the Rams coughed up that big lead. Mm-hmm. Rams put up some points early in that game. 49ers made some adjustments, man, and just started pounding their offensive line. And that's what they do. And again, going back to it, I am a big fan of Nick. I think Nick Bosa, he'd be up there. Like, if you could have any guy in the NFL, if you could just pluck anybody, I mean, he would be up there as far as like the first non-quarterback that I would take. I'm a huge Nick Bosa guy.
Yeah.
And he's a dynamic player. And that's where, that's the other angle, I think, for the 49ers to have success in this game. And that is true. Like, I love Aaron Donald, and I love what the Rams do defensively, and I'm a big Jalen Ramsey slappy. 100% a Jalen Ramsey slappy. They can be pushed around. They can be.
Whitworth is back, too, for the Rams. They're starting left tackle.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, man. And I just saw in the chat, too, Shanahan owns McVay, and that's absolutely true. 6-0 heading into this game, if I'm
What
not
is
mistaken.
it about that?
Dude, so actually, McVay used to work under Shanahan as his assistant. He was his quality control guy, actually. I was telling you this before the show. I was into the podcast. Sean McVay's got a podcast, him and Peter Schrager, and they had Shanahan on there. And that may be part of it. Shanahan's kind of, held McVay's hand throughout becoming a head coach or developing in this league. He's a smart guy, a brilliant guy, Sean McVay is. I don't want to discredit him. He's obviously a phenomenal coach, but like a lot of the stuff that he's learned has been from another phenomenal coach in Kyle Shanahan. And he just knows what the hell's going on in his head because he's taught half of it, That could be it, but also they never played in this type of moment.
Right. One funky Lions fan, the Bengals have had a little luck with the whistles too, and that's a factor. Like, this happens.
One time.
It's there.
I mean,
it's there, dude.
Yeah.
That ain't going to happen for him in Kansas City.
No, that's not going to happen. Like, that game even where they talk, Kansas City's going to serve him up on a platter, and we're going to be rooting for him next year again, though.
I don't know. See, I don't know if they're going to, quote unquote, crush them by like 30 points or anything like that. I just think that.
By 20.
Okay. Again, I just think that the Chiefs will get up early and the Bengals will feel that pressure. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And they'll have to constantly be catching up.
Yeah.
I just think that's the way it's going to go. Now, granted, Chiefs come out, get the ball first, they make a mistake, Bengals score. Now they're dictating the terms. The game could take on a totally different identity. I mean, just off the top of my head, kind of my feel, like what's in my gut with it, I kind of think that's the way that's going to go, where the Chiefs will score first. The Bengals will have to play catch-up, and it just won't work out for them because, the 3rd and 3, man. Chiefs are up on you 7-0, and it's your first possession, and it's 3rd and 3 at your own 29, or 3rd and 3 at your own 32. You better convert, bro.
You got that feeling in your stomach at that point, like
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know, like that. That's part of the reason I think the Chiefs are so good.
Patrick Mahomes, Matthew Stafford, Super Bowl.
Well, it's just that there's constant pressure on him, man, and that takes a toll, certainly on a young player as well. It took exploring 50 different formulas and hosting countless taste tests, but we believe Gypsy's the best tasting, smoothest vodka on the market. It's gluten-free, corn distilled 6 times, using artesian spring water. But here's the deal with it. They got a cool-looking bottle, as you can see on the screen. The artesian spring water, all of that. On Sunday, at about 2:45, you know it's going in the glass with some ice, some club soda, and some limes. Rinse, repeat, and probably one more time too. And then we'll land the plane, Sawyer, as the night goes on. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm talking about. We'll go out at a breakneck pace, Sawyer, but then we'll kind of level it out. You know, I think about the fourth quarter of the first game. We'll put it on cruise control, and then maybe one the rest of the time.
Yep.
Is that fair?
Just autopilot.
Autopilot on the way
right
in.
into Flint Bishop Airport, and then you just land right on the runway and go to bed.
You see what I'm saying? That's the way it's going to work for me. All the while, I'll be supporting local guys from the state of Michigan. Gypsy Vodka, proudly produced in Petoskey, Michigan. Try a bottle today. Ask for it by name. It's Gypsy Vodka. As always, drink responsibly.
I'm Kay Cunningham. Working with Hall Financial to purchase my first home was easier than I could have ever imagined. They treated me like family from start to finish. Find out for yourself at callhallfirst.com.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Opinions are like ear holes, and we're putting ours in yours.
Well, that's not winning, joint.
It's Woodward Sports.
Coming down the stretch here, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network on a Friday. My name is Neal Rule. Easy.
What up, though?
The man so influential, he just needs 2 letters. E-Z is the name. We got Sam Flannel in the sound booth. We got Sawyer on the ones and twos. Happy to have you all with us. Interesting point. And sometimes the YouTube chat thread, they go off and they get on a topic and they get things going. I kind of monitor it from time to time to see what they're talking about. And Stephen Baffey brings up a good point, and we're going to see the Lions. You know, they're reaping the benefits of this already. And I think low key, I've been a guy that said, we're going off the board here a little bit, guys, so just roll with me here. Stephen Baffey says, they're talking about Lions free agency and who could come back and who they could re-sign.
Yeah.
And Stephen says, I'm not concerned with losing Christian Harris. The Lions will get a 3rd-round pick out of it if they don't sign anyone, and there are a lot of good rushers in this year's draft. There could even be some 3rd to 6th round sleepers at edge that could develop in a year or two. And that goes back to my thing with the Lions and the whole free agency deal this year, where everyone, and we'll get into that coming up in just a little bit about the Michael Thomas stuff and all that kind of bit. They're not going to be in the market for free agency yet.
No.
I think we saw that was a deliberate attack with what they did with the Trinity Benson thing, with the Brashad Perriman thing, where they took a couple of swings that could work out, that could not work out, very low risk. You pay Perriman $2.5 million to go away. It's over. That's it. You didn't go out in the free agency market, spend a ton of money. You got 3 comp picks coming. And the Christian Harris thing, this will also tell me, and I think I'll tell a lot of you about the depth that Brad Holmes is going to, because I like Harris a lot. You get seduced by that 1st-round draft pick tag that he has, and certainly what he did this year. Maybe the light bulb finally went on. But it's going to cost some money to re-sign him now.
Yeah.
Especially given that position. You know, that $8 to $9 to $10 million range.
Yeah.
If they sit out free agency again, someone comes in, and more importantly, they don't re-sign Harris. Now you're seeing the whole plan of attack here with acquiring draft capital and comp picks and all that kind of stuff. You're going to see the depth of Brad Holmes here on display, and everyone's going to lose their mind Sam Flannel. Be ready. They're going to lose their mind when the Lions don't go out and are active in free agency at all.
He's already said, though. He already came out in his closing press conference. Like, hey, expect a similar offseason to last season. And we're limited, dude. I think we have like $50 million headed into this year, $49 million, if that. And then we got to sign a rookie class, too. Like, we're limited. Expect it. But where are you going? What'd you take with this one? I'm curious.
As far as?
Like what do you expect him to do in the absence of Charles Harris?
In the absence of Charles Harris?
Yeah, like are we replacing him? Are they bringing him back? I guess like you're teasing me here.
Well, I'm my guess would be they have Trey Flowers anyway.
Mm-hmm.
They'll kind of see if he stays healthy and put him out there. He probably won't. He becomes a lot more cut friendly after next year. You know what I'm saying? Like you have Trey Flowers to kind of fall back on in that. Yeah. Obviously, you're drafting an edge, be it Thibodeau, be it Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah.
You're drafting an edge rusher with that pick. That'll probably tell you a lot, too, with what they're going to do draft-wise and all that kind of stuff. If you see Harris sign, then you know what the story was with all that. So you're going to address that position either through your draft or through guys that you have on the roster already. And look, don't kill the messenger. He's here. Trey Flowers is here. You got him. So, roll them out because, again, it just doesn't matter next year either.
I fully admit it sucks to say goodbye to a Charles Harris because he did perform. And like you said, he does have that first-round tag on him. Makes him a little bit more appealing, a little bit more sexy. But that comp pick you talked about, the one for Kenny Galladay, expected to be the highest one of this year, and a third-round pick, which actually gives us 5 picks in the top 100 this year. On top of, I'm pretty damn sold on Kayvon Thibodeau at this point. I know I was the Kyle Hamilton guy. I was part of that crazy mob that was like, take him here. And I do believe in him.
We had to educate you this morning because, you were the Kyle Hamilton, take a safety who you're going to pay close to the most expensive safety in the NFL on a per-year basis when the value is in quarterbacks and edge rushers and offensive tackles. We had to educate you a little this morning.
Yeah, it was, who educated me honestly was Eric Schlitt. Because I already knew that in my head, right? But I'm thinking, like, this kid's, like, still – I think he's going to be phenomenal. Like and you look at the contracts, yes. Which, by the way, when did Jamal Adams become like the best safety? I think he's just like a box guy. I've never thought of him as that guy, but I think Kyle Hamilton's better than all those guys on the list. I truly believe that he's going to be better than all of them. I think size-wise, coverage-wise, instinct-wise, like I pair him closer to Sean Taylor or even dare I say Ed Reed. But with us losing Charles Harris on top of the more hits, more of the stud edge rushers are becoming those first top 10 picks. Not even the top 3 picks. We got to take Kayvon Thibodeau. Charles Harris probably going to be gone from it. But I'm moving on. What's some other safeties I could look at? What was the other one? Brisker. I got to do my homework on that guy.
No, I like where your head's at. I understand it, but we just had to educate you on the financials of it, and that's fine. And people are talking about Trey Flowers is cut, Trey Flowers is gone. At a $23 million salary, he's got about a $13 million dead cap hit next year. So, I guess on next year's cap, it saves you $10 million, and that's if you wanted to sign Christian Harris. But again, I think if you're going to draft an edge, Aquara's coming back. You have some dudes coming back. Yeah. I think you're fine at that position. I think that's why Harris will be kind of the odd guy out. You don't need another $10 million guy at that spot. And certainly it's a thing you could do. Yeah, you could cut Trey Flowers. Or if you're concerned about bodies at that position, you could bring him back and then cut him the following year when he's a $5.5 million dead cap hit. Because, again, if you're sitting out free agency, guys, which I think they are going to, and try to go the comp pick route, if you're sitting out free agency, then it doesn't really matter, right? Deep down in the pits of your stomach, you know the truth that it doesn't really matter. And you have Flowers under contract anyway. So you just run it back another year. Then he's, $5.5 million to cut next offseason, and that's it.
But doesn't Harris have to sign like a top end contract for it to become a comp pick?
Yeah. Well, it'll depend on the it'll depend on the contract he signs.
Yeah. So I guess you can still wait it out and pick between the two. Obviously, there'd be no negotiation regardless. I would imagine they just, aren't curious to see what other teams are offering him because he was productive here. And who knows? I know that it sounded like we're going to keep Flowers, but that is $10 million in cap that we could say. Who knows what's going on?
And see, here's the deal, too. When you start breaking the numbers down, Joey 2 times puts this very well. Harris is a free agent that had 1 year of decent production. He's going to cost you a third of your available cap. He's probably gone. Yeah. And that's what it is, too.
Yep.
So you guys see how, as we talk this through, there isn't really a case to keep him.
If you're like sold on what he showed you there at moments in the season, then like, sure, there's that. But ultimately, with us having the number 2 pick, with 2 edge guys there, which I think Kayvon's going to be the one, like, I think you should feel better about it.
Absolutely. And it almost, as we talk it through, regardless of who you take with that first pick, you take Joey 2 times point in there, it's going to be a third of your cap space. You'll get a comp pick when he leaves versus, the 1 year of production, parlayed with the fact that you're drafting an edge. You have Aquara coming back. Like, it almost, now it's sounding like a no-brainer, isn't it, that you don't re-sign him?
Yeah, no, all the math is there. It all makes sense. There's nothing to argue. At this point, you're kind of doing like the Matthew Stafford thing, where it's like, but Stafford numbers, like, just let it go. It's okay.
We need to keep that one. Michigan Panthers named a head coach. I don't know if the Panthers named it or the USFL named it or whatever. Jeff Fisher will be the head coach of the Michigan Panthers in the USFL coming up this spring. So Michigan Panther fans, be ready to go 500. Right?
Damn, man. That was
not going to be bad. Not going to be good.
Hey,
it's just going to be.
They were a franchise to be reckoned with, if I'm not mistaken, back in their day.
They were.
The Panthers were like, yeah, I was asking, shout out to, God, my name went blank in my head here. But, no, I heard the Panthers were like the team. They're actually the last pro football team in the state of Michigan.
Win a championship.
Yeah, to win a championship. I'm excited for them because of that. Because I will give Sheila Ford a chance, and I think she has shown some things a little bit different than past ownership. But the Lions have been the Lions. They've been absolutely atrocious, like horrible throughout the history. And the Calvin Johnson thing wasn't very promising. I might be a big Michigan Panthers fan because I need some winning football, some winning pro football in my state, in my town. Like, I'm here for it, man. I'm ready for the Panthers.
So let me ask you this then.
Yeah.
And I'll ask you guys too.
Hey, maybe that's where we see Charles Harris. Maybe he gets one of the big contracts there.
Let's do a YouTube. Let's do a quick flash poll on YouTube. Are you going to watch the Michigan Panthers?
Hell yes. Do we watch the Lions?
Hold on. Let's back that up, Sawyer. Are you going to watch the Panthers only because the Lions are bad? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, here's what I think. I think that fans here will watch the games, and if they come out and they're 1-3, they'll jump off board.
I mean,
admit you'll do it easy.
I like football. I'm gonna watch it. I mean, like, they may start 1-3, but I want to be one of those guys that I was there from week 1 with them if they become like what they were. I get it's probably different ownership and all that stuff too, but like they're a good franchise in pro football for Michigan, man. Like, I gotta give them a chance. Look how many chances I've given the Lions. I'm still giving them. I've grieved to you because we were both once former season ticket holders. And they're increasing the price. They're raising the price on certain games. It's getting a little funky. Like, I got to give somebody a chance to win my heart over in the state of Michigan, man. I'm as soon as those jerseys will probably be horrendous. They look ugly. I hate that little purple. What is that color? What do you call that?
What's that?
The Michigan Panther color. It's like a reddish,
like a sky blue.
Sky, is
like
that
a
what
wine.
It is?
It used to be golden wine.
Yeah,
wine and gold.
the wine. I don't like that. At least I'm a big guy. I don't think it's gonna look too good on me, man. I'll be honest with you. But
I should have wore the Michigan Panthers shirt today. I'll wear it next week. I have a Michigan Panthers throwback shirt. Super Saiyan Lion says all Neal talks about is money. This is why the Lions will never succeed. It's about what the coaches
Snooty
think
Neal,
and the fit
money.
of the team. That's what counts, not all this money talk. You're aware there's a thing called the salary cap in the NFL, right? Where all the teams are given the same amount of money to spend. It's all that matters. Because, as we go through all this, what's everybody talking about with Trey Flowers? Like dead money. You could take that money and go spend it on somebody else. That is exactly what matters. As we'll discuss with his little pipe dream, Easy's little pipe dream, when we come back.
It's not my pipe dream.
The YouTube poll is up. Are you going to watch the Michigan Panthers just because the Lions are trash? 60% say yes. Off to a quick start on that. We'll come back with more. We're talking Michigan Panthers. We have to shut down Easy. The Motorsports Minutes coming up. Sawyer at that as well. Easy wants Michael Thomas here. We'll laugh at that.
I don't want Michael
when we
Thomas.
come back. This is Big D Energy here on the Woodward Sports Network, live from the My Bookie Studios. Guys, it's here. NFL Championship weekend coming up on Sunday. You can take on some of your biggest wins of the season with mybookie.ag. They'll double your first deposit with the promo code Woodward all the way up to $1,000. $1,000. They got all the sports, everything on there. The Australian Open, if you really enjoy betting on stuff, the Australian Open's on at 3:30 in the morning. Go ahead, dive into that if you want to. But with mybookie.ag, the cleanest interface, everything runs smooth, everything runs quickly. That's what's important in this game. Yeah, you want a nice bonus code to get things rolling, and you can do that with the promo code Woodward, and they'll double your first deposit up to $1,000. That is important. But the website is sleek. The interface is fast. You'll get your action going right there. Certainly important if you're live betting games, but you can tap in and do that this Sunday all game long as well. MyBookie.ag. One more time, they'll double your first deposit with the promo code Woodward. So head to MyBookie, place your bets, and get ready for the intensity and the legacy-defining action of playoff football. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. With MyBookie, have a problem with gambling, call the Michigan Problem Gambling Helpline, 1-800-270-7117.
Okay, you thirsty little spin goblins. I want you to pedal into the next dimension. Spin it! Spin! Spin! Uh-oh! Carmen's falling behind. Let's give her the hiss of shame. Spin! Spin! Spin till you bleed!
Don't ride the bike of shame. Come to Planet Fitness and find your own lane with tons of equipment, free fitness training, and no hissing. Join today for just $10 a month.
It took exploring 50 different formulas and hosting countless taste tests, but we believe Gypsy Vodka is the smoothest vodka on the market. Don't believe us? Ask the owners.
We're Mike and Adam Kazanowski with High Five Spirits Distillery. We're in close to about 1,200 locations throughout Michigan. We wanted to create a brand that was geared more towards freedom, love, adventure, and at the end of the day, we really wanted to tell a story that inspired other people to take risks, follow their dreams, whatever that might be.
Putting on a show here, and that's how you answer. We love our sports. We just wish they'd love us back. Detroit sports for Detroit sports fans. Woodward Sports.
Coming down the stretch, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neal Rule, Easy in the house as well. Sam Flannel and Sawyer, our YouTube chat there. Mickey Lundfeldt. I watched the Panthers when I was a kid, so I'm watching them again. Bobby Hebert, Anthony Carter, all day long. Noble Bojovic kicking the field goals as well as former Detroit Drive great. Won a lot of arena football championships for the Detroit Drive. Ryan's reaction: if money doesn't matter, why do the Packers suck next year? Bingo. See, there, it's like the most critical component outside of the draft of football.
No, it's 100%. That's part of the reason why the draft is so critical. It's the money, the contracts.
Right. DMAP Zoom says, I'm just glad we have more football throughout the year. Joey, 2 times. You don't get rich by cutting a lot of checks. That is accurate as well. YouTube flash poll. Are you going to watch Michigan Panthers because the Lions are trash? Yes at 54%. No at 46%.
Wow.
People are saying, they're going to watch anyway, regardless.
Let me just tell you guys on this real quick. All right, Neal, you're a soccer guy, right?
Yeah.
You're non-soccer fish. Sam, I don't know if you like soccer, but relegation is a thing, right?
Right.
Terrible teams get dropped off. You just bring somebody else up and give them a chance.
Will never work in the U.S. in any sport.
Any sport? Well, here's a pipe dream. It does work, right? And the Michigan Panthers, the last pro football team to win a championship here in the state of Michigan, are that team. Maybe they become that team. There's a dream. Vote yes.
It's never.
I'm easy, and I approve this message.
Yeah, that's never going to happen for a multitude of reasons. One that jumps off the top of my head: you're not going to charge somebody $1 billion for a team, and then the next year they're playing in the USFL. That's one reason. Number 2 is if you have relegation, I think you would have to remove salary caps, and I think the owners like the salary cap situation the way it is right now.
Oh, so you'd have to remove this.
Because if I'm an owner,
do you have to get rid of the salary cap?
If you're gonna do relegation, if I'm an owner, if I'm a top end owner, let me choose how committed I am to my franchise. How are we gonna have relegation in a salary cap?
But we still
world?
have franchises that aren't like fully committed though, even with the salary cap. Not everyone's filling it up.
Sure.
So let those guys fall. You guys, hey, it's capitalism. Welcome to America, baby.
No one's gonna do it. Easy. No one's ever going to do it.
Just give me a winning team in Michigan, bro.
So you're going to pay $1 billion for a team.
Uh-huh.
And the reason it's valued at $1 billion
You
It's
think the
because you're guaranteed your cut of the national television deals, all the national advertising, and all that stuff.
Okay.
So you're gonna pay $1 billion for that team, and largely because you're getting the slice of all that revenue. So you're telling me you're gonna put that at risk year one to go into the USFL, where you get none of that anymore, and the value of your franchise plummets.
Well, that's where you're smart, and you buy a USFL team because they're way cheaper. You buy the Michigan Panthers. It'll got to be $1 billion. I'll sell for $400 million.
Oh man, Daniel Gray relegation would solve the tanking problem at least.
I don't take in football though. I don't think tanking's a thing in NFL.
It's never going to happen here, everybody. Never, ever, ever.
Tanking or relegation?
Relegation will never happen at any level of sport in the U.S.
Maybe
never,
NBA.
Ever.
Keep your fingers crossed.
It's never going to happen. Are we talking expansion? Yes. No, so I'm just curious. Big Play Jay says, I'm watching the Michigan Panthers in the USFL based off the nostalgia. How long does that last, though? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, you got to think some of these guys are going to transition to the NFL at some point. They're going to prove themselves. I mean, it happened with the XFL with a couple of guys, too. So I think Trevor Heineke, XFL guy, wasn't he? Before signing with the football team?
I'm not 100% sure about him, but remember P.J. Walker?
P.J. Walker was one.
Oh, yeah, the great P.J. Walker era in the NFL.
Beat the Lions.
Yeah, that's right.
And hey, he actually performed better than Newton before the Panthers re-signed Cam Newton.
Yeah, those were great times, man. Those certainly were great times. Easy, you're not serious about this Michael Thomas stuff, right? Consider making a trade.
Stop putting that on my name.
You're the one that Sawyer, who brought that into the show?
I brought it into the group
Easy
chat.
did.
Easy did? So that's Easy's topic then, right?
It's Easy's topic, yes. But
Okay,
it's not
then proceed. Tell me.
Okay. I want you to argue it because Adam, another strong personality on this network.
No. Adam's not here. You're here. You brought it into the show prep. So you tell me.
I brought it to show prep because
Please.
Adam, another strong personality on this network, who crunches numbers. You guys you guys again, the strong personalities, right? Here's the thing you guys disagree on, and I just wanted a little pushback here. I wanted to see every reason. I don't like Michael Thomas. I think everything he's been told, even by his own teammates, that he's a slant god. That's what he's all good for. Like I'm good on that. I think wide receivers you could draft we saw it this year with Amon-Ra St. Brown. Antonio Brown, one of the best wide receivers to do it. Draft, I think, 5th round pick. Tyreek Hill, 4th round pick. Like I think wide receivers come a dime a dozen. I'm not for trading Michael Thomas, but I do the YouTube. That video was doing really well on YouTube. I wanted to address it. I wanted to bring some sense to it, and I know you'd help me do that.
Okay, let me see. I'll tell you. At 3 years and $50 million for a malcontent, because look, I want to trade for Ben Simmons, and I got laughed off the YouTube chat thread.
Well, I mean, NBA contracts are different.
Why are you going to run like this? Is Michael Thomas's numbers out there right now? Like, get out of here with that stuff, man. He's in the middle of a 5-year, $96 million contract.
Yeah.
Get out of here with that.
Yeah, you'd be paying $15 million at minimum in that first year too, and like honestly, like right now, I know Michael Thomas has the numbers right that he had with Drew Brees, one of the best quarterbacks to do it, by the way, and a great offensive system with Sean Payton, one of the best to do it as well. But no, dude, just no. I would honestly take Amon-Ra and his value from his contract over Michael Thomas all day. And I guess yes, it could be quickly dismissed because we both agree like hell no. But I guess
So are we done with this?
Yeah, I just wanted to bring it brought to the public because people see those big names.
Speak now or forever hold your peace, because we're putting a quick bullet into this one.
We done? Is Adam still here?
Michael Thomas.
Yeah.
Can we?
He's a diva on top of that.
Yeah, a malcontent, right? Like, seems to be a lot of big problems with Michael Thomas.
Yeah,
no, I'm not
just
interested.
No for me.
Not interested in that at all. He's going to be 30 next year. How did that get views on YouTube?
I'm going to look right now to see.
I don't care how many it got. That's not an indictment on me. That's an indictment on the people that clicked on that.
That is true. But I think for some reason people are in love with wide receivers. Even my man Spence, my fellow heavyweight, he wants a receiver at the bottom of the first round this year. I'm straight. Like, I get it, those guys who look sexy and appealing, but again, like, you find these guys a dime a dozen. Half the guys are the best in the league right now. The same way I had to get it broke down with me for the safeties and the edge rushers, you do that with the wide receivers, half those guys are like 4th round picks.
Yeah, dude, I'm not interested in taking on contracts like that. The Lions clearly are not interested in taking on contracts like that. I'm glad that we were able to move on from that one quickly, Easy.
Yeah, 3.7 thousand views yesterday compared to the 2 when we were giving love to Penei Sewell. What's wrong with you guys?
People do love trades, though. I will give you that. People do love trades. Maybe because our audience here on Big D Energy is a little more sophisticated than that easy.
Snooty Neal. It's a little bit more
No,
sophisticated.
our audience is a little more sophisticated than that easy.
Because you're teaching
They know
them, man.
better.
Yeah. With the polls every day, they're like, okay.
No, they know better here than to talk foolishness like that, Michael Thomas.
I'm with
Whatever,
you.
dude.
I'm with you.
Come on, man. Go ahead.
I say I
Please.
think his argument was for a fourth and fifth pick or something like that.
No,
But
I'd
still,
rather have
no.
the fourth and fifth pick.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's when those receivers get taken. I'm around fourth pick.
So we're done?
We're
Can
done.
I move on? All right,
Yes.
good talk.
Quarter turn.
Planet Fitness, home of the judgment-free zone. Unless you're talking about trading for Michael Thomas, then you'll get judged at Planet Fitness, as you should be. But you can work out in a non-intimidating, judgment-free atmosphere. Membership, just $10 a month. Right now, zero down, $10 a month. They also have a black card option at $22.99 a month. Gives you access to over 2,000 locations worldwide. Unlimited guest privileges as well. The hydro massage, total body enhancement, all of that stuff. Total black card access to Planet Fitness, just $22.99 a month. That's how I roll. I pay the $22.99 every month. You can join in club or online at www.planetfitness.com. No matter where you are, a Planet Fitness is close by. There's now one open in Midtown Detroit at the Detroit Pistons Performance Center. Also, Planet Fitness, hiring at all positions. You want to work in fitness? Go to planetfitness.com today. Planet Fitness.
Fellas, football season is here. It's time to make your grooming experience easy like Sunday morning. Get to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk in, relax, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Get to Lady Jane's, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Go! Detroit Sports on Demand.
DeAndre Swift, he's going to take it all the way for the touchdown. Open in the corner, he tripled.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app today. Take us with you everywhere you go. Search Woodward Sports Network or WSN Live.
Final segment of the show here on a Friday. That's right, we made it through the week. This was a long, grueling week. My wife and I were talking about that yesterday. We weren't arguing about the dishwasher or Parmesan cheese. It was a long week this week. I'm glad we got through it. Whenever it gets super cold like this, that's the way it goes.
Yeah.
Chrome on our YouTube chat thread. LOL. That Neal guy hate Michael Thomas. I don't hate Michael Thomas. I hate his contract. Definitely hate his contract. And it's got no place on the books here. Not interested. Guy's going to be 30. He seems to be a malcontent. I'll take Amon-Ra St. Brown for his total contract less than Michael Thomas will make in 4 weeks next year. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Is that acceptable to you as well?
100% acceptable.
You guys said it was acceptable to you, so I think it is time for the Motor Sports Minute. And this is 60 seconds Sawyer gets. And you guys said you wanted it, and I don't hate it, and Sawyer's passionate about it. Oh, yeah. And I think he does a good job. And I think we're seeing that even spill over into the live reads and everything like that. You people have said Sawyer's dead ass with his live reads. So, he's the dude. I'm a big Sawyer fan. Sawyer is my guy, 100%. To keep him honest, however, Sam Flannel has his finger on the mic button. 60 seconds will go up on the clock. Sawyer can talk about auto racing in any form or fashion he feels is relevant. You guys will tell us if you enjoyed it or whatever you thought. He makes it intriguing to me. And I don't hate motorsports.
Yeah.
I don't hate them. I'm not going to watch NASCAR for 3 hours and watch them go around in a circle. But I like the Formula 1.
Oh, yeah.
I really like the IndyCar. Not so much the NASCAR, but those are the ground rules. Sawyer, you got 60 seconds. Sam Flannel, you're an integral part of this as well. At 60 seconds, what happened, Sam?
I cut his mic.
You need to cut it at 60 seconds. So here we are, Sawyer. You got the clock ready?
Oh, yeah.
All right, the floor is yours, Sawyer. It's time for Sawyer's Motor Sports Minute.
All righty. Well, today we got ourselves a packed minute. So to start things off, tomorrow actually is the Rolex 24 Hours of Daytona, kicking off at 1:30. So they start at 1:30 in the afternoon, going to run all day, all through the night. Then they'll end at 1:30 on Sunday afternoon. So it's a great race. 4 different classes of cars will be racing. So it's one race with 4 different races going on at once. Highly recommend to watch it. It'll be on NBC. Next little story we got for you. World champion Max Verstappen is the first Formula One driver since 2014 to wear number 1, which is a tradition in Formula One that the past world champions have done since the sport started. If you win, you wear number 1 just because you were the best driver. So he's donning that again, showing off his new helmet in a video he put out on social media, and Formula One put out on social media the other day. My favorite time of the year is right around the corner. F1 2022 car launch dates are here. This is where they show off the brand new cars for the season. See the new livery, big ceremony, amazing time. More dates to come. And the last one, Junior baby.
Oh, he didn't make it. He tried. Sawyer knew, like you could tell. I could hear the pace ramping up. You knew the clock was in your ear. It was a hard out.
Sawyer, do you practice that? Like,
No.
do you sit in the mirror?
No, I just go right off the rip.
That's what's up.
I don't
man.
prep it. I just like put the stuff in the prep and then I just kind of talk about it.
Steve Brown says world champion Max.
Yep, that's what he did. Yep, he won the world championship. Yep.
Robert Colosi, who listens to the show, who is a sports agent as well, said my client Darren Law has won the Daytona 24 before. Detroit Dabber 313. Cry about it, Lewis Hamilton. You guys are great though, man. Like when we do this, they tap in, dude.
So, we ever thought about like doing your own podcast about racing at all? Like, is that ever going to be a thing?
Oh, I've thought about it. I've been talking to Nick Leach, the head of social media in the back, so we've been kicking the idea around. So I'd maybe stay tuned around the Woodward Sports social media channels about it.
Lee Key Sr. says just missed Dale Jr. You know what?
Yeah,
What was the point you were going to make?
I was going to say, he was the biggest, one of the biggest NASCAR drivers ever. We got to talk about him. Yeah, he finally made it into the NASCAR Hall of Fame this year. So,
he wasn't in already.
I think it might be like NFL where there's like a couple years of gestation, right? But his whole career, he was voted the most favorite popular driver in the league, so he deserved it.
So everybody enjoyed it, and I'm not going to lie to you. I enjoyed it too. You've really streamlined that thing, man.
Yeah, just a lot of information. I got to get it all in. There's a lot going on this weekend.
I will say the Motorsports Minute has been producing bangers.
Oh, appreciate it. You got to watch that endurance race this weekend. It's sick. It's probably my favorite.
So
one of my
real,
favorite forms.
They drive for 24 hours.
Yeah, so it's a 24-hour race. They have 3 to 4 drivers.
Is that safe?
Well, there's 3 or 4 drivers on each team.
Okay, so when they come into pit, they'll switch.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then that's
so each guy they'll race for like 3 or 4 hours, and then they'll switch. But like your driver is tiered. It's like a gold driver, silver driver, bronze driver, and then whatever the other one is. And they have to each hit an allotment of hours in the car. So your gold driver has to drive the most, silver driver second, and then it keeps going. So they have to be in the car for a specific amount of time for it to count and everything. So, and it's one big race, but there's 4 classes, so there's 4 different races going on at the same time.
And they're just going around Daytona Speedway.
They're going around the road course in Daytona. So Daytona has the super speedway, which you see with NASCAR, and then they also have an infield road course. So they'll come down like the front straight like NASCAR before going into the big banking. They'll go off the front straight and then into the infield, loop around, and come up into turn 1 and 2. Then down
How many
the back.
hours? How many hours of the 24 will you watch?
There was one year I stayed up to like 3 watching it, so I watched a lot of it. But I'll probably watch a good maybe like 6 or 7 hours.
Really?
Yeah, because I'll just have it on when I'm like grinding PC at night and have it on in the morning.
That makes sense.
But we went to it my senior year of high school, and we were there, got there when it started, and we left at I think 1:30 or 2 in the morning, and then we were back at the track at 8:30 or 9 the next morning for the end of it. But we had manufacturer passes, so we were allowed to go everywhere, like down on pit wall and like into pit stalls and stuff. So
if you were to sell me on racing, because my thing with it is like, and I'm sure you've been asked this a million times, and I apologize, but I'm just genuinely curious, like, why? When it comes down to, like, the last, like, lap or 2 laps, like that's where the drama is. Like, it's like, why? I don't know. Like, what's exciting before then? You know
Do you watch the first quarter of a football game?
Yes.
There's your answer.
There's points to be put up.
Well, there's positions to be had.
There's passes to be made, positions
you can't win the race in the first quarter, but you can lose a race.
But I'm saying, if you shut them down for the rest of the game, like I'm seeing like the highlight plays and stuff like that. But at this point, like it's a car going in a circle.
Yeah, but at the beginning of the race, even though if you're in the back of the pack, you can still come back and win, but you're still like setting up your car, like putting it in position to where you want it to be later. Or if your car's tight going through the corner, you like make adjustments on your car at the beginning of the race, so then it's set up at the end.
And like
for
all
your
the
last little
factors
sprint.
that happen during the race dictates what happens at the end.
So-
Like if you have to pit at the end or if you don't because there was a wreck, like all
if
that
you're
stuff
saving
has to play
fuel.
out.
Is that the interesting part then? Like what they're tinkering with to come back and overcome like there are other
Well,
guys?
I mean,
or-
to each their own on why they think it's like interesting. For me, my dad's a mechanical engineer, so I've grown up being around cars, working on cars, like the engineering aspect of cars. So, like what really gets me going with racing is just the fact that they're able to engineer these cars to go 210 miles per hour, running this far away from each other for 500
And
miles.
how do you squeeze out
So-
that extra 1/10 of a mile
Yeah.
per hour?
Yeah, that last horsepower that they need to
The
get
engineers of your car are basically your Brad Holmes of the
Mhm.
team, right?
you. Yeah. And I mean, and your race can be made or broke with a pit stop.
Okay. So here you go, Sawyer. Somebody brought up a good point. I think it was Dr. Detroit. How about a quarter mile with Sawyer? What about if we bump this up to 2.5 minutes and call it the quarter mile with Sawyer?
Give it to me. I'll take it.
Next week?
Yeah, let's go.
There you have it. Appreciate you, Easy.
Appreciate you.
Slide through, man, as always. Sam Flannel, Sawyer, big time work out of you guys as well. Big time work out of you guys, too, listening and watching all week long. My name is Neal Rule. It's Big D Energy right here, Woodward Sports Network. Well, see you later.
The like button.